world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man in this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The Travelician, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican world radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning, one and all. Welcome to Mornings with Mike Winters. I am he. That would be me, Mike Winters. Happy, well, at least it's not Monday. Tuesday, everybody. Yes, welcome to Tuesday. Welcome to day 2 of the Eastern New Mexico State Fair. Yes, it is. Although, any other week, I would be kind of giddy about our weather this morning. Dare I say, excited. But this week, I don't think I'm as excited about it.
All that boring weather we had last week. All that boring.
Yeah.
It just couldn't hold out for one more week.
Yeah.
But honestly, if you look like at traditionally this time of year,
yes,
like in my memories it always pops up, we get it this week. You would think that maybe the fair board would come together and be like, let's move it to the second week in October. Let's just push it back a week and see what happens.
Well, you know what would happen?
The rain
It'd
would
be
move.
beautiful this week and rain next week.
Of course.
It's just Murphy's Law,
Right.
whatever you want to call it. It is
Yes.
that. So, bring an umbrella.
Yeah. And actually,
Maybe a poncho or a rain jacket.
if there is a little weather, things will, shut down for a little while, but they'll open back up eventually.
Well, I've said it in the weeks leading up to the fair, and this is why I've been saying it. If you do not like and follow the Eastern New Mexico State Fair Facebook page, you're going to be kind of left in the dark for things
true.
this week, because that is whenever there's a change in the schedule due to weather or anything else for that matter, that's where they post it first. So if you're like, ooh, is the concert happening tonight? Is whatever, go there and they will tell you. And so like and follow it. That way you can plan accordingly. Also, it's not just good for keeping up to date on information. Like, they do freebies and giveaways and
You find out information.
Yes, swag opportunity.
We are celebrating. So not only are we celebrating 100 years of the Eastern New Mexico State Fair, we're also celebrating the 22 years of doggone it, his name literally just left my head, of the former president of the Eastern New Mexico State Fair. Yeah, Hobson, Larry Hobson. Thank you.
Larry Hobson.
22 years of service with Larry Hobson, and so today is Ride 'em Cowboy Tuesday. As I mess with my headphones.
I've been hearing a lot of that, like the speaker was doing that earlier. That
means is $22 gets you into the fair. It's not the standard $12 admission fee. Free parking, $22 to get into the fair. A little more expensive today. But with that $22, you get a free ride bracelet.
Yes, which means you can ride rides.
All the rides you want till the cows come home. And actually, they're already there, so take your time.
Be honest, the bracelet's not worthy of keeping after
Kind of is.
fair.
It's attractive-ish.
I guess. I mean, if that's your thing. Yeah, that's really annoying.
That really is. It comes on my end or yours. But yeah, no, $22 get you in and riding all the rides. So as they said yesterday, if you're a vendor, today's not the day to use your vendor pass. Today's the day to pay for admission, just to get that ride pass.
To ride.
I'm not a rider per se. I'm not really much of.
I'm not anymore. I'm not. I used to, I've gotten older, and I don't know if the word is wiser, because I don't think that's correct.
Right.
I guess I've gotten aware that I'm not indestructible. And I'm like, wait a minute, you want me to go how many miles an hour and do what?
I am made.
Nah, I'm good.
I am made motion sick a lot easier these days, and I was made motion sick pretty easily back in the day. So that should tell you something.
No, like when I was a kid, I mean, I get nervous, but I'd ride all the roller coasters and everything, and I don't know how many times I rode that stupid ride where you stick to the wall and the floor drops.
The Gravitron.
Yeah, that one.
Mm-hmm.
I rode that so many times that I probably should not have a digestive system.
One would think, yeah.
But now to get me on there, I'm like, yeah, I'm good.
The Sea Dragon. It gets me. Like, I can't even ride the one that does this back and forthy thing, like a swing set. I can't even do that anymore.
The swing ship or whatever you call it? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And the theme park that was we used to go to as a kid, it was King's Dominion, Paramount's King. It's like Six Flags, whatever. It's in Virginia. It's near Busch Gardens. But anyway, their ship version was called the Berserker.
Berserker.
My love for you
is ticking clock. Berserker.
Yeah, different Berserker.
Totally different.
Yeah,
I would hope.
But you know what I like about that is nowadays I'd rather go and just like, not on a day that's like scorching hot, but like go and just kind of sit on a bench under the shade and just watch the day go by. To me, that's kind of cool at the theme park where you're sitting there and of course you got these crazy roller coasters going over your head.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And so that's kind of fun to watch, but I don't want to sit in it per se and ride it.
I'm gonna glaze over your racial insensitivity back there.
What's that?
You didn't hear it?
I guess I did.
You just want to go to a theme park and watch the day go by? I'm just gonna let it go. You want to dwell on it? That's on you.
Address all complaints.
Kenny.
All right. Let me give you the rundown for today's show. We do have a full slate for you. This is annoying. I don't know, our headphone jack, inside baseball for you. Something keeps cutting out on our speakers. So when I'm trying to listen to me, it keeps going in and out in one ear. And if you ever tried listening to yourself talk when that's going on, the word annoying is high on that list. But anyway, let me give you the rundown for today's show. We're going to start things off this hour. We're going to talk Walker Aviation Museum. Ted Smith from the Aviation Museum will join us here, give us an update on what they've got going on, and, of course, talk a little bit about the museum and put a little bit of history and information on folks' radar this morning. In the 8 o'clock hour, about 8:15, we don't have a guest scheduled, so we're going to replay our interview. We had the kids and Andrea Stapp from join us yesterday from Chaves County 4-H. While you're out at the fair this week, they have taken over the ice cream parlor there at the fair. It's that building right in front of the commercial building that you go every year for ice cream and milkshakes. Well, Chaves County 4-H is running that this year, and they want to invite you to come out and help. And, of course, all the money they raise is going to support Chaves County 4-H. So we'll definitely want to come out, and it's a hard way to support the kids, I'll tell you, eat ice cream. But anyway, they're going to ask you to do that. And so we'll play that for you. And then in the 9 o'clock hour, about 9:15, John LeMay with the Historical Society for Southeast New Mexico is going to join us talking about their spooktacular book event with Donna Blake Burchell that's coming up here in a couple weeks. We'll talk about that with John LeMay, talk about his latest books and what's going on in his author world as well, too. Plus, we'll have all of your features that include the news of the local variety, news of the national variety, your Wall Street Town Hall business updates, your Hannity, Kim Commando updates, and whatever else we can come up with for today's show. Before we do any of that, though, let's go ahead and take a look at that weather. And like I said, rain is entered the forecast, and I'm not going to lie, because it's Fair Week, that kind of makes it more concrete. So, I don't know. Hopefully I'm wrong, but here it is.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. We'll get a mix of sunshine and clouds today, but we do have some moist air coming in from the south, and we could get some showers and thunderstorms by this afternoon. Our high will be in the upper 70s. For tonight, showers and thunderstorms, pretty good possibility, cloudy and our low in the upper 50s, and then clouds on Wednesday will stay cool, our afternoon high about 75, scattered showers. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Thank you. Thank you, Steve. Currently, let me get my weather up. Currently 61 degrees here in Roswell. Humidity is at 48%. Winds currently out of the north of 3 miles per hour. Rain chances, pretty good, according to the weather anyway. 40% chance of showers and thunderstorms for this afternoon. They say mainly after 3 p.m. today. Partly cloudy. High of 78 expected. We're not even getting to the 80s today. Winds will be out of the south 5 to 10 miles per hour. Tonight, our chance of precipitation jumps up to 60%. They're saying mostly cloudy, overnight low of 58, west winds 5 to 10. They're saying we could see anywhere from a tenth, they say just less than a tenth of an inch, unless we get like an actual thunderstorm tonight. For you Wednesday, we're looking at a 50% chance at showers and thunderstorms, mostly cloudy. 74 for a high tomorrow, winds out of the north 5 to 10 miles per hour, anywhere from a tenth to a quarter of an inch possible during the day Wednesday. Tomorrow night, 50% chance at showers and thunderstorms, mostly cloudy. 57 for an overnight low with north winds 5 to 10. And then Thursday, we're looking at a 40% chance at showers, mostly cloudy, 75. Thursday night drops down to 30% chance of rain. Friday, 40% chance of showers, partly cloudy, and 75. 20% chance of rain for Friday night as well, partly cloudy, 54. And then for the weekend, rain chances as well, 30% for Saturday, so a little lower than the meat of the week there. And then partly cloudy, 73 on Saturday. And then for Sunday, 40% chance of rain, partly cloudy, 75. So 70s all week this way out. We were done with the 80s yesterday, apparently. I thought they were going to give us another day or two, but apparently not. So just bring your raincoats, bring your umbrellas, and then make sure you like and follow the Eastern New Mexico State Fair Facebook page. That way, if there is any weather-related schedule changes or anything like that, you'll find out first there. Don't forget, Sean was talking about the $22, the little bit higher entry, but the free arm ride bands today. Don't forget, tomorrow is Senior Day out at the Eastern New Mexico State Fair. Senior Day activities begin at 3 p.m., and that's when they'll start letting seniors in for free there around, before that. But that's before the actual gates open to the public at 4 tomorrow. So seniors get there early. That way you can enjoy all the free. You get in for free and enjoy all the Senior Day stuff. And then when the gates open at 4, if you want to, stick around and ride some rides and see some shows and check out the concert and all that good stuff, by all means. But that's tomorrow for Senior Day out at the Eastern New Mexico State Fair. All right, it is 7:18. We're going to take a 3.5-minute break. Amongst that break will be your Roswell Livestock Report recap. And then Ted Smith with the Walker Aviation Museum will join us on the other side of the break. Don't go away. You're listening to Mornings with Mike Winters.
Good morning, this is Smiley Wooten at the Roswell Livestock Auction. 1,183 head of cattle sold on Monday on a steady to lower market with excellent buyer attendance compared to last week, with buyers really paying attention to shots, weaning, and age of cattle. Stocker calves sold 10 to 20 lower. Feeder cattle steady. Packer cows and bulls $2 to $5 lower. 3 to 400 pound steers $198 $205. 3 to 400 pound heifers $155 $50 $158. 4 to 500 pound steers $185 $198. 4 to 500 pound heifers $155 $155 $50. 5 to 600 pound steers $173 $185. 5 to 600 pound heifers $150 $155. 6 700 pound steers $163 $173. 6 700 pound heifers $138 $150. 7 800 pound steers true yearlings $170 $50 $173 $50. 7 800 pound heifers $133 $138. Packer cows 70 to 79. Canner and cutter cows 60 to 67. Packer bulls 88 to 98. Feeder bulls 70 to 75. The top half of the cow-calf pairs $1,250 to $1,350 per pair. Top half of the bred cows $900 to $1,100 per head. Now remember, this is the top of the market, and prices range down from this according to quality, condition, quantity, and Phil. We do appreciate the business and keep praying for rain. This is Smiley Wooten, Roswell Livestock Auction.
I'm Michelle Garcia Holmes, and I'm running for United States Congress. As a former policewoman, I put on my Kevlar vest, uniform, gun belt, grabbed my 12-gauge shotgun, jumped into my police car, and hit the city streets to keep you safe. I want to do the same for you in Washington. I'm asking for your vote on November 8th because our families deserve safe cities, a secure border, and lower gas prices.
Donate today at GarciaHolmesForCongress.com. Paid for by Michelle Garcia Holmes for Congress.
Gear up for hunting season with LGS Guns and Ammo, Southeastern New Mexico's official home for everything you need to make the most out of this season. From rifles and ammo to scopes, optics, game calls, scents, and more. From brands you know and love like Ruger, Smith & Wesson, Mossberg, and so much more. Be ready for everything this hunting season throws your way with the help of LGS Guns and Ammo, Southeastern New Mexico's authority for guns and ammunition, across from Target in Roswell and at 109 North Del Paso in Hobbs, and online 24/7 at lgsguns.com.
Have you noticed the days are getting shorter? This is Jim Gill from Roswell Seed Company. I know it's kind of hard to tell, but we're on the downhill side of the year, so every day is a couple of minutes shorter than the one before, even though your plants need plenty of food and water to keep them healthy. Like those globe willows that are turning yellow. A good dose of the right fertilizer will make them bright green again. No matter what the problems you're having, we probably have a cure at Roswell Seed Company, but come see us soon, because winter's coming, you know.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. The Goodyear Rubber Company researched and concluded that shoes wear out faster on the right foot than on the left. To fix this, just walk backwards for half the day. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 21 minutes after 7 o'clock. Joining us in studio this morning from the Walker Aviation Museum. I guess Robert said, I'm taking the morning off. And said, I'm sleeping in. And he said, Ted, you're up. So joining us with the Walker Aviation Museum this morning, Ted Smith with us. Morning, Ted. How you doing today?
Good morning, sir. Before you say anything, I want to tell you how I feel about your radio show.
Well, thank you.
Right now, Bob Sherman's cringing out there. Oh, no, he's off script.
You know, I better watch what I'm thinking.
But the fact is that you have a show that people can listen to with their kids in the car on their way to school and not have to explain innuendos that they hear on the radio and all sorts of things like that. It's a family show, and being family guys like we are, I just want you to know there are people out there that appreciate it, and you'll probably hear from them now that I've mentioned it.
Well, I appreciate
it's a real pleasure to have you in our community.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I'm not going to lie. Some days we're better at it than others, but but thank you very much. It's very nice to hear. I'm not going to lie. Most of the time, people talk to us. I mean, you get people that like us, and I'm not going to sit here and say that, but most of the time, people only reach out if they're mad at us for some reason. So thank you. That's kind of nice.
Yeah, don't let it go to your head.
For folks that aren't familiar, the Walker Aviation Museum is it's really a gem here in Roswell, but it celebrates a history that I think a lot of people that have lived there their whole lives don't realize are part of this community, this local culture, and the role that this community served during the World War II era and the Cold War era. It's pretty impressive, and some of the things that's been done. I mean, I know Robert and I say this every time we talk about bomber crews in World War II, and it's hard to fathom, but you think of all those bombers that were flying, those B-17s, and that were flying over Europe and over Asia during World War II, and a large percentage of those young men in those aircraft spent time training here in Roswell, New Mexico. And to me, that every time I think of that, wrap my head around it, I'm just like, man, because you watch any World War, Memphis Belle, any of those, and just see a sea of B-17s flying, and every one of those, and you think, man, all those kids spent probably time in Roswell at some point. So it's just I think about that every time. So, and that's just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to Walker Aviation Museum history in Walker Air Force Base. So we like to bring bring Ted and Robert on to kind of remind folks that we have this amazing treasure here in Roswell, New Mexico. So if you've never been, I'm hoping by the end of our talk here, you're like, maybe I ought to plan a visit down to the museum here and see stuff. So, but I mean, fill in any gaps I'm missing here, Ted. That's it really is a gem we have here. I know you're a little biased because you're a volunteer there, but it really is a gem.
Oh, it's huge, and like you said about the folks who flew, words can't describe the horrors that those young people went through flying those combat missions.
Yeah.
I did 30 years in the military, and my father did 20 in the Air Force, and I had my mother's Dutch, and when she was 4 years old, her family home was bombed flat in a bombing raid with her mother and two sisters inside.
Oh, wow.
She and her father were out in town in a public bomb shelter, and when they got home, there was nothing left of the house but the front wall.
Oh, wow.
And so they're out in the street crying. She's 4. To this day, she has the worst PTSD of anybody I know. And a miracle occurred. The body recovery guys went in and found her mom and sisters alive in that tiny little cellar.
Holy cow.
Unscratched.
That's an advertisement for that bomb shelter, that's for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. But the whole thing is the war was horrors. And
yes,
when you go to graveyards, the military cemeteries in Europe for the thousands of troops who weren't brought home to be buried, you see one of those in that movie, Saving Private Ryan.
Yes.
You'll see youngsters from your hometown. They're listed by state and everything, and so very many of them are aircrew. It's shocking.
Yeah.
In 1940, the president called for 50,000 aircraft to be produced, and in 42 he wanted 60,000, and 43 he wanted 125,000, and 14,000 of the pilots that flew those things went through Roswell Army Airfield.
Wow.
It was a big deal.
And speaking of that World War II, the flying crews and all that, one of the other missions at Roswell was the glider crews as well, teaching and for those that aren't familiar with the gliders, first off, I don't know whose idea it was for gliders, but I'm thinking they should demote that guy. But anyway.
An airplane without a motor?
Yeah. And
what could go wrong? Yeah.
On for example, like D-Day invasion, while they're storming the beaches, there's guys in gliders just basically gliding behind enemy lines and getting shot down in flak, and they have no self-defense. They limit an engine to try to land this sucker. You're at the mercy of gravity at this point. And but anyway, a lot of that was done here at Walker too. So.
Yeah, we trained 1,000 guys for the glider replacement pool. That was a big deal.
Yeah,
that's risky. I like the idea of having engines. I'm sorry, I'm that way.
There's a reason we still use horses and things. We've modernized to more modern advances here. But when we talk about this, and you kind of mentioned, your family and history there, and talking about the PTSD they go through from those bombings and things, and think about that. We, back obviously during World War II, PTSD was. What are you talking about? There's, suck it up, let's deal with it.
Yeah.
There was no PTSD, and that's something that's come in more modern times. But think about that. During a world war, you have generations of people that went through probably major PTSD, and we just chalked it up as, when you hear things like the greatest generation, this is why we say that. Because all the problems you have in your world today, they were dealing it tenfold and didn't have resources to kind of, mentally deal with those kinds of things.
There was a lot of alcoholism and suicide behind the scenes that people don't know about. A lot of guys preferred night jobs where they didn't have to deal with a lot of noise and people. But it's all part of the program. You're a military guy, I am.
Mm-hmm.
Something we know is that when we signed the contract, I know it sounds a little corny, but the fact is we opened a vein and signed it with our blood, and we offered that blood to our fellow citizens. If it goes, it goes.
It's why we respect the veteran.
Yes.
They are willing to do things that others are not, and for that we show that respect. That's just how it works.
Yeah. The World War II guys had to suffer for a long time, but as professionals, you and I know that bad dreams and all that's part of the job.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact is that, well, we sure don't want American children to know what children in Baghdad know.
Right.
We would much rather, as the grown-ups, go over there and
handle business.
Yeah, on behalf of everybody else, so that they're not like my mother.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a very innocent preschooler who, saw her world literally just crumble in front of her eyes. And by the way, she married an American airman, even though the U.S. Air Force bombed her house. And in her town, they renamed the street Roosevelt Street. Yeah. And in that town, there's a major military cemetery, an American one. And there's a community of Dutch women who tend the graves of the Americans, the thousands of Americans there, because their moms can't. That's how much we are appreciated overseas.
Wow.
And people just don't get that. People here, there seems to be what am I looking for in words? A tendency to discount our culture and our government and say that we're somehow bad. Well, go to Maastricht, Netherlands, and you'll hear a different story. They know the names of and the biographies of every U.S. soldier who was killed fighting to liberate their town. And every year on the 29th of September, they celebrate Liberation Day. They're so thankful.
It's one of those things. It's, you don't, I think it's a perspective thing, because let's face it, we as Americans, in some way, shape, or form, have done our jobs as far as making a country that people can live and not have worries all the time, like other countries worry. Don't get me wrong and say we're paved with gold and sunshine and rainbows, but we live in a country where you don't have to fear. Well, you didn't have to fear for what you're saying or what you want to do without someone, in a government official form denying you or physically preventing you from doing something.
Right.
And until you've had to experience that, you may not realize how good you have it. And these people in Europe, obviously, especially during World War II, they're dealing with German and Nazi, regime, the Italians, the Axis.
Right.
They're dealing with that stuff, and they know it. They've seen it. They've lived it firsthand. Don't forget, a generation before, they're doing the exact same thing in World War I, fighting and doing this. This is Europe knows.
They do.
Political swings this way and that way, and people in this country don't experience. I mean, yeah, we got some unique times now, but for generations of people don't understand that.
1865 is the last time an American family had to make the kinds of decisions that my Dutch grandfather and grandmother had to make.
Yes. And so that is why this country's great. That is why when people like Ted's talking about here, people that 3, 4, 6 generations after World War II take on the duty, or in their eyes, the duty of maintaining graves, showing respect to people. Let's face it, most of the people, they weren't even on the earth when these people were there. And now they're still doing it because they understand what took place there and realize that, you know what, we probably wouldn't be here doing what we're doing if these people didn't make the ultimate sacrifice.
Oh, certainly. Over 100,000 Dutch children starved to death because the German occupiers took their food, took their shoes, their clothes, all of that. Mom's generation in Holland is called the nervous generation. And that pretty much sums it up.
Because it's just that you got to keep a more modern term, but you got to keep your head on a swivel. And when you're expecting to open a door and there's a booby trap or you get punch drunk that way, and that's what happens. So, yeah.
And unfortunately, that's the standard around the world in very, very many places. And the fact that American children can go to school and not go through these horrors.
Absolutely. Here.
I'll tell you this, a lot of the public, well, most of the public doesn't know that when we take our oath of allegiance to join the service, it's not to the United States. It's not to the president. It's not even to the people of the United States.
Yeah.
It's to the Constitution. And the theory is this: the military stays out of politics. We guarantee the process.
We're supposed to anyway.
By staying out of it, right?
Yeah.
When in countries where the Marine Corps selects your president, those countries are never free again. When you suspend your Constitution, even one time, you lose freedom forever.
Sure.
And our founding fathers knew that this could not possibly be a perfect government. There's no such thing. It's not possible. There are people involved. But they set it up so that we would take turns being in charge, that we would fight our fights in a voting booth instead of with, up and down the street with weapons.
Absolutely.
And guess what? So long as the last one who was elected, whether he's the dog catcher or the president, was elected through the constitutional process, and so long as the next one is, everything's fine.
Yep.
It's just the way it was planned.
Yep.
So that we could take turns being in charge without having to have violence.
Yep.
Whenever you wonder about that, folks, that's why America's great.
Absolutely. Because you get to do that, say. And let's be honest here, when we talk back about military and things like that, and as Ted was saying, when you raise your hand to swear yourself into the United States military, you're defending that Constitution, not the United States of America, as you're saying here, but what it represents. And this is why it's so important, because, as Ted said, times change. People's desires, wants, those will shift a little bit as time happens. But that Constitution is designed to flow with that. So as people's desires and wants change, that Constitution also keeps up with that, but in a way to protect, not in a way to restrict, to prevent. When we talk, the constitutional amendments and things, that's the very reason for that. Yeah, we can amend it at any time. That's exactly as needed, but you got to do it. And that's. But anyway, but this is what makes this country great, because you can't go to any of these other countries in the world, and even what we quote our allies, our partners, Australia, England. They have some forms, but it's not like here that that you don't still enjoy those freedoms in those countries. Now, it's not like China or Russia where it's more restrictive, but it's still, there's protections you have here that you don't have in England or Australia or things like that, and that's the difference.
It's okay to say God bless America.
Yeah,
it is A-okay.
Yeah.
I want to tell you a couple of things real fast about what the museum's doing in the community.
Yeah, we probably should. I know we get
before we set up a recruiting office.
Knowing Ted and I know me, we're both easy to get off topic. I'm just saying.
Yeah, and I want to close up with the actual, honest to goodness, real reason the base closed.
Good deal. Because most of us think it's like most reasons a good base closed, you think, oh, they're trying to save a buck here, kind of thing. So
yeah, I've heard all sorts of things.
Yeah.
Politics and all that, and it's not the case. But at any rate, I'll tell you, the men like Bob Donnell and Bob Sherman.
These guys are the backbone of the museum, and with people like these two, we probably wouldn't have a museum, to be honest. So
well, very much these men are heroes to me. I'm a historian. I set up a historical holding when I was in the armed forces, and that was just really neat. I'm the gifted amateur guy. I don't have a PhD in history, and I met these fellows, and I went straight to work on history, and I saw them doing something else in the community. First off, these are people who grew up around the base as kids, went on to their careers, and came home, and wanted to help protect the legacies of their fathers and those folks.
Absolutely.
And there's a lot of memento material there. But also, they're running a STEM program without that name. They just understand that people need to have technology careers.
Mm-hmm.
So they bring in a lot of folks from high school and middle school and Job Corps on field trips, show them some STEM videos, and let them fly the simulators. We have 2 actual pilot simulators in the museum, and not games, right? Actual simulators that you can log. And the idea is to generate an interest in working in the aviation industry.
Absolutely.
Now, I'll tell you that our airport, what is it, RIAC, is the factory for our town. It's huge. It's a big employer.
Absolutely.
And the way to get a good paying job there is to get an A&P certificate from the FAA. It's an airframe and power plant ticket.
A valuable piece of paper in your hand once you achieve that. I just from my time in the military, and matter of fact, I'm not going to lie, if I wasn't trying to pursue radio careers and stuff, I might have probably went on and got my A&P license and then,
the nationwide average for starting with an A&P certificate is about $65,000 a year.
Yeah.
That's not bad compared to changing tires in town, right? And the trick is you can just graduate high school, go down to the Eastern New Mexico University on the old air base, take their A&P course, take your FAA test, and go to work in our town's factory. New Mexico will pay for it once you're out of high school. Some of the companies there will pay for it. It's awesome. You're wide open to work around the world or right here at home and have a good paying job. And these folks want the kids in our community to realize that there's a lot more to town.
Sure. Expose them to these opportunities, and so hopefully they get kind of bit with the bug to want to pursue these careers and things. And what I love about, you were talking about the flight simulators earlier, when these kids come from Job Corps or Scouts or whatever organization they're coming in with, if they take that interest and they come, they can actually, you guys issue like a license or like a library card to the ones that want to pursue this more, and on their free time, their own time, when obviously they can't come at 2 a.m, but whenever the thing's open, they can come in, flash that card, and that tells the staff there that this kid's proficient, and they can go and work on their own time, work on their own hours, and as you said, this isn't a toy. This is actually logging for their training, the hours that they have to have in seat time and things like this. This goes towards that. So
right, gas is expensive.
Yeah, it's a lot easier. Virtual gas is a lot cheaper than actual gas.
I'll tell you that I think that our airport's about to boom. There are 3 or 4 of the vendors out there that are becoming rated to certify aircraft for flight. Typically, our vendors are subcontractors.
Okay.
And we're on our way to being an actual air depot. It's just booming, and we're going to need the workforce.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of let's actually because we kind of got sidebarred again, but because I was going to mention, there's so many assets with that huge runway and all that, it really beckons here, but we never really did mention when we were talking about the base closure, and then we got sidetracked.
Okay.
Let's talk about that real reason why the base ended up being closed. It's kind of a unique.
Yeah.
Well, it makes sense when you hear it, but the public wouldn't have thought much about it here.
I use the Air Force's historical command's documents on this, so there's no speculation.
Gotcha.
It's the answer, right?
It is the official researched answer here.
Yeah. Our base met every criteria, for never being closed. It was just perfect. Immense good weather, flying hours, unrestricted flying area. Then when the Cold War began, we're located far away from metropolitan areas, so major metropolitan areas. So
I've noticed.
Yeah. Well, the whole point is you don't want one in downtown Manhattan.
Exactly. Well, less people. If there's an accident, less people get hurt. That's
Roger.
Yeah.
Or, God forbid, the nuclear bomb.
Yes.
The Russians are expected to attack over the most direct route for them, and that's over the North Pole. So the bases in the south, the bomber bases, had more warning time to launch their aircraft.
Okay.
So that was a big deal. We had bases in the north, but they had fewer flying days, and the weather was much harder on their facilities. And if the Russians attacked and it happened to be in the middle of a blizzard, the base in Michigan might not be there for the game.
Sorry, we can't show up to the war. We're snowed in.
Yeah. And I grew up on air bases. You served on them. You get it. It can be like that.
Absolutely.
Everybody thinks that all the Air Force bases are on beaches, and it turns out that that's not the case.
Not all of them.
Yeah. And the other thing was they wanted bases that had room for future expansion in case there were additional missions. And in the 50s and 60s, the Air Force got a notion Department of Defense got a notion to start consolidating bomber bases, put twice as many aircraft on and all that.
Okay.
It used to be we would keep it down to 12 birds on a base, and then they went to 24. So there were a lot of base closing rounds, and Walker always survived. It was just, you couldn't beat it
because it had the great weather. They could bombing. It's all the variables for training worked well here.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And it came down to a half a dozen consolidated bases, and this was making the Air Force crazy because they don't want all their birds on a half a dozen bases where only a half dozen bombs can get them. They wanted to disperse them.
Sure.
So they're fighting with the DOD about how many bases to have. And by the way, this had nothing to do with the war in Vietnam. All this happened way before that. So in 1964, there was another base closing round where over 100 bases closed, Army, Navy, and Air Force, and only 11 of them were Air Force, and ours was near the top of the list of the ones to keep. It was perfect, right? And then somebody figured something out. It turns out that since we're at 3,666 feet altitude, come July and August, the air gets thin. And the B-52, every B-52 was accompanied by a plane called a KC-135 tanker.
Refueler.
Right, for in-flight refueling. And that was the old 707, Boeing 707 airplane. And it turns out that here they had to cut the amount of fuel, and I'm not sure by how much, but it might be as much as half on the tanker, or it couldn't get off the runway.
Because the air was, okay.
So the end result was somebody looked at the war plans that were specifically assigned to the units here and realized that they couldn't get to Russia, bomb them, and get home because we couldn't take off with enough fuel. And the fuelers couldn't support them on the trip, right?
Wow.
And so the alternative is to add more tankers or move the aircraft to different bases where they could be better supported.
Sure. Well, and you saw the what happened there. Interesting.
So,
but you still would think that they'd recognize the training aspect of this base and want to keep it open. But I guess maybe they can meet those needs at other places.
Yes, the Air Training Command was a whole different outfit.
Yeah.
And this was the Strategic Air Command. And it's a shame, You know what's ironic is the only kind of Air Force planes that typically visit are KC-135 tankers. It's sad they're the ones that closed us.
Yeah.
But it happened that the
bit of irony.
Yeah. The B-52s at that time were gas hogs. Of course, if you're going to fly around the world, and with
they're
that bomb,
hulking beast, let's face it. The B-52s is the beast.
And so was the KC-135. It was a gas hog. Today's versions have very efficient turbofans, and I kind of wonder if maybe they would work here today.
To be honest, I don't think that's a variable for us today.
No, it's not.
Technology-wise, to be honest.
But it's ironic.
Yeah.
So by 1967, they had to close the base because of the technology of the specific aircraft we had at that time.
Wow.
And that's it. She closed, and it was a great tragedy. And when I look at how the RAC is about to just boom, we're looking at a successful base closing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But I guess, this is where the phoenix from the ashes is what we sit today. And you see that college that's out there. You see all the industry, the companies that, during COVID, our role was very vital to the country. Many airlines stored their benched aircraft that was sitting on the sidelines during COVID. So it's kind of unique how the roles of that area has changed over the years since that base is closed.
Right.
And to me, that's as interesting of the history as it was those bomber crews that called it home in the in the 40s. And
right, history's being made right now.
Yeah,
it's fantastic, and like you say, the price of gas goes up. They park some birds.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit of COVID, they park some birds, and now with more and more companies being able to certify birds right back into the air, I sense that we're going to see more turnaround and more aircraft using it.
Absolutely.
It's not the scrapyard people think it is.
I've also heard, because we have these, and again, I know enough to know that it's something different, but I don't know enough to know how, jack of all trades, master none thing here. But I've heard that one of the runways, because they have huge runways because of the aircraft, it's some of the biggest in the country. But there is one of those runways that has a certain type of, I don't know if it's the material that the runway's made out of, but pilots have to certify on landing on this style runway, and the one here in Roswell is one of the few in the country that they can do that.
Wow.
I don't know all the details. I just have sketchy details, but it's something along those lines.
I'm going to try to chase that down now.
Yeah, there's something about the runway that pilots that have to get tested on it, and the one here is one of the few that has that ability, and I'm not sure. I wish I had more details, but it's something along that nature.
Well, I get a lot of pilots in the museum. I'm going to start asking.
Okay.
The pilots come through. Most of the people we get are basic travelers, but we also get a lot of business people.
Sure.
Aviation industry and energy industry. We spend a lot of time pitching how wonderful Roswell is to those people because many of them are executives, with the hope that they'll relocate or establish and see the future potentials here.
Mm-hmm.
And I've got to say that Mayor Jennings and his guys are doing really good work trying to get the right people in. Folks will rent a building and put nobody in it. That's not what we want.
Right.
We want them to rent a building and hire a workforce.
Sure. We want a breathing, thriving industry going on there. So, good deal. We're running short on time, but I do want to put people on to some of the stuff here. If you want to help the Walker Aviation Museum, volunteering, always looking for more volunteers. I know when Robert comes on, he says they're always looking for some new faces to serve on the board as well, too. And, of course, between Bob and Ted and Robert, they're the ones, the three of you are kind of working as the docents, keeping during flight times for folks to come and visit. They could probably use a couple more people that'd love to do that. So Robert and Ted get a day off every once in a while here, and Bob, but would love to do, so please reach out. And then, of course, as Robert says, check go to AA.com and look at the flight schedule. And that's basically when the museum's open. So, whenever they got a flight, they usually have it open for folks to come and, try to catch the passengers and people coming in and out and do that. But come and visit, see the museum, see. The beautiful thing is now that the way, because they've done some remodeling over the years there. And now when you walk in, it's right there, and you can't miss it. Before they had some walls and things, and if you weren't paying attention, you could slip by. But now, if you miss it, you were trying to miss it.
Yeah, we have signs everywhere.
Yeah.
By the way, the Ham Jamboree is coming up at NAMI on the 15th.
Yes.
If you have a Cub Scout or Boy Scout troop that would like to participate in that, I'll give you some more information on that.
Okay.
It's an opportunity. Again, ham radio is kind of like a STEM thing.
Absolutely.
And this is exciting.
It's the best of both worlds because when all else fails, there's ham. And, it's literally, how many times they lose people up in the mountains or things like that. And it's the ham guys are the only people communicating to get word to these folks. And they do a lot of that stuff. Ham is very, I'm not talking about the meat. It is delicious. But ham radio is very vital, even though in the world of radio technology, it's not exactly cutting edge.
Well, see, and that's what we want children to find out about, by the way, is that a lot of the long haul that you do on ham is done over the internet.
Yeah.
You key the radio and your little handheld, and then you can talk to someone pedaling a 10-speed in England.
Yeah.
It's modern.
It is. It's modern with ancient. It's really the best of melding the early ages of radio with the modern ages of technology, and it's really cool. But anyway, please, the 15th is when they're doing that. Is it at NMMI?
Right.
Good
I'll
deal.
get you more information.
Okay.
There's a scout troop, too, by the way, an aviation-related scout troop.
Okay.
At the airport, sponsored by CAVU and the facility manager.
Okay.
We'll get you some more information about them, too.
Good deal. It's probably one of the, in scouting, they have, activity-specific groups. They usually call them the Explorer Posts.
Right.
And so they'll have them for, like, law enforcement or aviation or farming and ranching, things like that. I remember back in Maryland when I grew up, they had a sailing one where it was guys that were doing sailing. And I was good at the knots, but not the sailing. That's the reason I went into the Air Force. But anyway.
I understand. I can throw up really good in the Chesapeake Bay.
That's right. Absolutely. Folks, if you have questions, information, I'd like to steer you to the Walker Air Force Base Museum's website. It is www.wafbmuseum.org. If you don't remember any of that, just Google Walker Air Force Base Museum, something like that. It'll pop right up. Also, the Walker Aviation Museum does have a Facebook page. Like and follow that, and I love that because you always get feel-good stories from time to time of some youth coming in the area or something like a lot of time Navy or someone will come and do some training here, and they'll come and bring kids out and let them see the refuelers and stuff like that. They got always cool stuff like that going on.
You're not kidding. I had a couple of families in the last month that flew in simply because they had been stationed here in the 50s, and they wanted to come see where they were kids. That's just so neat.
It is cool. I love it. And every once in a while, from time to time, like you'll get celebrities coming through looking. I'll never forget. I'm not sure if you're in town here when that happened or not yet, but several years ago, David Copperfield come rolling through town, and he went to the Walker Aviation Museum because I think his dad served there, and he was looking for information about his father. Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't ask Robert. I think he was the one who was helping him do all that stuff.
You know, John Denver was born there.
Yes. As a matter of fact, I want to say Robert knew the family or something. Like I think they were chewing the dirt the same time around
Not
here.
surprised. His real name is Dutchendorf.
Yes.
That doesn't roll off the tongue.
I can see why he's John Denver and Dusendorf or Dutchendorf, whatever his name is. But yeah, it's a mouthful. But we're about out of time here. But wafbmuseum.org. Anything we missed we want to get out there before we go?
Not that I can really think of at the moment.
Okay.
Got tons of notes, and of course I left them.
That's why we come every month. Just tell Robert I can handle it this month, or come together. That'd be quite a tag team duo.
There we go.
Awesome, Ted. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Oh, thank you, sir.
Thank you for the conversation. I love these. This is why I love when you guys come on, because I love sitting and telling stories and talking and telling people about life and history. I just love that. That's part of when I'm not cracking dumb jokes, I like talking about that stuff. So thank you. Appreciate it.
And again, thank you for the work you're doing in our community. It means a lot as a parent.
I'm glad. Thank you. I'm glad my dumb jokes make a difference every once in a while. It is 7:58. Let's take a quick break before we get you in the news. Don't go away.
Oasis Computers has been Roswell's trusted source for home and small business computers for over 30 years, and they continue to be your best resource for computer repairs, operating system upgrades, web root managed, antivirus, special orders, and more. Oasis Computers is now open from 8 to 1, Monday through Friday to better serve you. Service calls by appointments and after-hour appointments are available too. Stop by Oasis Computers at 1703 North Garden or call or text 575-625-9141 for even faster service.
Come check out a favorite fall family attraction in Artesia. Heirloom Acres Corn Maze and Pumpkin Patch is now open weekends in October. Get lost in the 8-acre corn maze. Pick a pumpkin straight from the patch. Take a ride on the kiddie zip line. Indulge in one of many tasty eats from the concessions. And enjoy roasting s'mores around one of our campfires. Come out weekends in October to Heirloom Acres, located 1 mile east of Artesia on Highway 82. Heirloom Acres, where you're sure to find joy this fall. Paid for by Eddy County Lodgers Tax.
This is Dallas Cowboys football 2022.
High formation. Ferguson, the fullback.
Only heard here.
In front of Elliott. 3rd and goal from the 1.
All season.
Handoff. Elliott coming right, pushing. Goal line. Bangs in.
Touchdown, Elliott. Sunday afternoon, it's your Cowboys and the L.A. Rams. Live from SoFi Stadium on this Dallas Cowboys radio network station.
Sunday at 1:30 p.m. on your Dallas Cowboy station, 92.9 The Brand.
Talk radio has landed on the all-new 106.5 FM KEND Roswell.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. Warning sirens filled the air in Tokyo earlier today.
The Japanese Prime Minister's office said at least one missile fired from North Korea flew over Japan and was believed to have landed in the Pacific Ocean. South Korea's Joint Chiefs of Staff said they also detected a launch of a ballistic missile that was fired towards the North's eastern waters. The launch is the fifth round of weapons tests by North Korea in the past 10 days, in what was seen as an apparent response to military drills between South Korea and the United States. North Korea views such drills as an invasion rehearsal. I'm Lisa Dwyer.
President Biden suggesting it's important to learn the lessons of Hurricane Fiona, which devastated Puerto Rico.
We have to ensure that when the next hurricane strikes, Puerto Rico is ready.
The president speaking during a visit to the island yesterday, and as Florida works to recover from the devastation of Hurricane Ian, Senator Marco Rubio is warning against lawmakers including pork barrel spending in any storm relief package.
Senator Rubio says he'll vote against a federal aid bill for his state if it includes pork spending projects unrelated to the storm. Sure, he told CNN's Dana Bash, I'll fight against it having pork in it. Rubio noted he's voted against hurricane relief bills in the past that were loaded with pork and in favor of all that were not. Florida took a pounding last week from Ian when it blew ashore as a Category 4 hurricane, leaving nearly 50 people dead. Bob Agnew reporting.
And the Hurricane Ian death toll has now risen to at least 104. Most of the deaths in Florida, but also fatalities in the Carolinas and in Cuba, where the storm struck first, before moving on to Florida. Wall Street following up on yesterday's rally with more gains this morning. Right now, the Dow is up 737 points. It's a gain of more than 2%. The NASDAQ ahead 334. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Charlie Dombeck here from Key City Capital. As a practicing CPA for nearly 30 years, I have found that 80% of your ability to grow your wealth is dependent upon two factors: taxes and investment performance. At Key City Capital, we improve investment performance by diversifying capital into off-market investment opportunities in passive rental real estate and alternatives like asset-backed lending. We recover dollars that clients unnecessarily pay in the form of income taxes, creating a lifetime annuity of savings. We are a sponsor of passive, affordable single and multifamily residential rental investments, which are located in Sunbelt landlord-friendly states. These investments are the top choices in a rising interest rate and inflationary environment. They represent a store of value, protecting your capital from market volatility. Learn how we at Key City Capital can help you ultimately grow your wealth rapidly. Connect with me at keycitycapital.com or give me a call at 817-912-1569.
An Indonesian police chief apologizes for a deadly soccer stadium stampede.
East Java Police Chief Nico Afinta says he was saddened by the tragedy and was sorry for shortcomings in how security was managed at the football stadium. His forces have come under heavy criticism for firing tear gas into the crowd after fans ran onto the pitch after the match. At least 125 people were killed when people rushed to leave and found many of the exit gates locked. In the capital, Jakarta, the National Police Commissioner told a press conference that the officers in the field had not followed instructions.
The BBC's Rebecca Henschke. Iran's president appealing for national unity as he tries to diffuse anger against the country's rulers, even as anti-government protests engulf the country. News and analysis at townhall.com. A retrial for the man charged with killing 22 elderly women in the Dallas area.
Billy Chamirmir was convicted early this year of capital murder in the death of 81-year-old Luthi Harris and sentenced to life in prison without parole. Prosecutors are looking to secure a second sentence of life in prison without parole against Chamirmir in the death of 87-year-old Mary Brooks. In the years following his arrest in 2018, The charges against him grew as police across the Dallas area began re-examining the deaths of older people that had previously been considered natural. John Scott reporting.
As California's drought deepens, more rural communities are running out of water. Heavy pumping is depleting groundwater supplies are not being replenished by rain and snowmelt. More than 1,200 wells have run dry this year statewide. That's a nearly 50% increase over the same period last year. More on these stories, townhall.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man on this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The Travelician, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 6 minutes after 8 o'clock. Welcome. I'm going to say it slow to give ample time. Welcome to hour number 2. Then I forgot to turn the mic on. Mornings with Mike Winters. Right here on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM. This thing's getting
Still giving it to you, huh?
Ornery on me. Here, I'm going to play.
All right. This portion of the program brought to you by the Eastern New Mexico State Fair, celebrating 100 years of fair time excellence. The Eastern New Mexico State Fair is going to be happening all this week, and you can visit enmsf.com for all the info that you need to know, and follow them on Facebook to get up to the second info on closures, delays, any kind of additions, and some great discounts as well for you waiting for you at the Eastern New Mexico State Fair. Tonight, Austin Van takes the stage, and our sister station, Fiero 106.1, will be out broadcasting live from 5 till 8 p.m. inside the big blue bandwagon.
Yeah, I think that splitter's done.
Yeah.
I think we need to invest in a new one.
You have to get another new, like, $135. Surely he's got, like, a drawer full of them somewhere.
Where are you, Radio Shack?
Where are you, Radio Shack?
This would have been the time.
I know.
Growing up, I'd be like, well, let's go to Radio Shack. Now, where do I go?
It's depressing. I never thought about Radio Shack even the slightest until they closed. I'm like, well, where am I going to go to get a bit of wire now?
Yeah.
Like, not that I'm ever going to need it, but what if I decide I want to make a crystal radio?
Yeah, I don't need a Tandy remote control car, but I might need...
Tandy.
I might need... an audio splitter.
That's a memory trigger with the Tandy right there. It's like, oh, how many pieces of technology I have in my house that were Tandy?
We were not one of them, but I had many a friend that their first computer was a
Tandy 9000.
Yeah.
Yep. We didn't have we didn't have the Tandy. My friend Josh had the Tandy. Our first computer, I remember, was a Windows. It was DOS based. It was Windows 3.1, and I was so excited about this computer. Well, it printed off in like the dot matrix, like.
And I think this one's going to predate you at just a couple years.
All right.
My friends at the time, the computer that was like the cool kid one because you could play some games like Spy Hunter on it was the Commodore 64.
Sure. Oh yeah, absolutely.
I didn't know. I think that kind of predated
it. It does predate me by a couple of years, but I remember I've watched a lot of like video game retrospectives and stuff, and yeah, the Commodore was a big deal back in the day.
That was like, I had 2 friends that had it, and I was jelly.
What was cool about the Commodore is, and a lot of kids were like, this is where they nerded out, is that you could get into the source code of the game and you could change it.
Yes. Oh, yeah. We did it because I don't know how many hacks to Spy Hunter and Silent Service we did. And then that was the dawn of the pirated copy.
Oh, yeah.
I remember my friend, I think the statute of limitations is on this
exactly.
one. He procured a copy, and it was Spy Hunter.
Oh, wow.
The game Spy Hunter.
Uh-huh.
It was a pirated copy. And when you loaded that bad boy up, every time it had a little skull and crossbones thing, you know, don't support piracy. I'm like, well, it was a pirated copy. It's the first time I ever heard of stealing, you know, software and data. That was my first run, was the Commodore 64.
There was
piracy of games.
And this is where I show how the difference in our age. When I was younger, there was a program, because one of the big things was PlayStation games, PS1 games the discs were write protected to where you couldn't use them if they weren't in an actual PlayStation. They had to like check this like source code thing. So there was a program that came out called Bleem. You downloaded the Bleem software, and then you could it would override that, and you could play PlayStation games on your computer.
Oh, okay.
But you had to have the disc. Like, you had to have the actual disc.
Okay.
But you didn't have to have a PlayStation. That was kind of where our piracy was. And then there was a whole thing where Bleem got sued, and they got put out of business by obviously Sony, the much bigger company. But yeah, that was our piracy, our version of piracy, for sure.
And I think the main reason I was so in awe of the Commodore 64, because my parents, they were generations ahead of their time here. Nowadays they would have been on the cutting edge. Back then, did not help me.
Right.
But they didn't get a Commodore 64, or they ended up getting an IBM, but not first.
Oh.
First computer that my parents bought was an Apple IIc.
Oh, the 2C.
Yes.
I remember the all-in-ones, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
That was the first computer we had.
Okay.
When you wanted to do things like productive at the time, it were probably the best in the, as far as that kind of thing.
Sure.
They had no games.
No games.
Nothing.
It's a business computer.
Only way I could play a game was I had to go get a magazine. They would sell them. Magazines are like books, but less pages. And they're
like bigger, glossier books with less pages and more pictures.
They usually sell them at grocery stores and things. But anyway, I got a magazine, and it was like a computer coding magazine.
Okay.
It was kind of like Nintendo Power had in the days.
Right.
They had computer gaming magazines similar to that. It wasn't as highfalutin fancy with lots of pictures and everything.
It's all 10, 20, 20, go to 10, C DOS.
But in every one of those magazines, they had like a book of code. And then if you put in all the code correctly, you could play like Hangman.
Right.
Or play like Space Invaders or something. You know what I mean? And I remember getting those and spending days putting semicolons and Lord knows else in. And if you make one tiny error, you're out.
Yep.
And I don't know how many times I went through.
I'm nearsighted.
Days. And
I would make so. That's why I never coded.
Yeah.
That's exactly why I would never code. What's crazy is, and I've watched a few YouTube videos about this. Some companies have built games with piracy protection in place, to where like the game will either glitch, or will present you with a situation where you cannot beat the game.
Gotcha.
It's kind of cool. It's actually like you're like some of the Final Fantasies. You'll be like a level in, and they'll be like, we detected this software is not authentic, so you're being transported to a world, and it's like a whole different part of the game that no one else can have access to, but is unbeatable. It's just like you'll die. You can't get out of it. So it's like purgatory, but in video game form.
So do you think people just stay playing in there? It's like, one day I'm going to...
I kind of would. I mean, like, this is uncharted territory, man.
Yeah.
Nobody else gets to come here.
Well.
This is like Mar-a-Lago.
Is that how it is now? Or
in a lot of games, they have come out over the last couple of generations have been like that. Where they'll put copyright, protections in place.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, back then all they had was a scary skull and crossbones to try to threaten you with.
Oh, the best one ever. I think it was for Pokemon. There was like a Pokemon game or some game. It was like on the Nintendo DS. You got to go to an interview, but it would stop the game. It would connect to the Wi-Fi that connected on your DS, and it would contact the authorities.
Whoa!
Yeah, and to like play a message that you were playing an unauthorized copy of the game. And obviously, if you call the authorities and then you hang up, they're going to call back.
Right.
So it's sort of like you're screwed if you play.
Yeah, but let's think about this for 1 minute.
Mm-hmm.
In what world are you going to be playing a bootleg copy of a game, and then all of a sudden, Roswell Police Department, we got word you're playing an unauthorized copy of a game. We need to confiscate that game right now.
Didn't you ever live in the mid 2000s? You wouldn't steal a car. That whole ad campaign. Yeah, no, they had a whole generation of people just terrified,
right,
as to the implications of our illegal downloading and hacking ways.
Yeah. But anyway, point is, Commodore 64 cool, Apple IIc not cool. That was the whole point of that.
We had an Intellivision, so I can't really talk one way or the other on cool.
I had an Intellivision too.
So you know the pain.
I did. All my friends had Ataris. I played Atari at my friend's house. You come to my house, we play Intellivision. That's what you had. Would you like to play some burger time? It is 8:15. Let me give you the rundown. We're going to replay our interview. Yesterday, we had some of the Chaves County 4-H kids and, of course, Andrew Stapp, 4-H director, join us. They are taking over the ice cream shop at the fair this week. They're going to be running the ice cream shop there in front of the commercial building, and I'd love to come and have you eat some ice cream out at the fair this week. So we're going to play that interview. We talk 4-H, talk a little bit about what these kids are into and all that. So the spirit of the fair, all the cool stuff about the fair, we kind of talking with these kids. So we're going to play that interview for you. And by the way, learn the fact that they want you to eat ice cream. But I liked it because we get to talk with the kids and kind of peel back the fabric for what the fair's all about. So love that. All right, it is 8:16. Let's get you up to date with the weather. I'm fairly certain if you're going to be at the fair, you're not going to be happy about it.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. We'll get a mix of sunshine and clouds today, but we do have some moist air coming in from the south, and we could get some showers and thunderstorms by this afternoon. Our high will be in the upper 70s. For tonight, showers and thunderstorms, pretty good possibility, cloudy, and our low in the upper 50s. And then clouds on Wednesday will stay cool. Our afternoon high about 75, scattered showers. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Thank you, Steve. Currently 63 degrees here in Roswell. Humidity is at 47%. Winds are calm at the moment. We are looking at a 40% chance for afternoon showers and thunderstorms today, mainly after 3 p.m. Partly cloudy. They say our high today is 78. That is the best part of that sentence. I've been waiting so hard for consistent 70s, and I think this is the week. So that makes me happy. And I'm not going to lie. If this was not fair week, I would be very, dare I say, giddy about this forecast. But unfortunately, it's fair week, so I'm not as happy about it. But I am happy about the temperatures. The weather, temperature-wise, should be beautiful out at the fair. Enjoy. I can deal with cooler. I could put coats on. But when it's just hot and sticky and, this is better, in my opinion. But 40% today. Tonight, we're looking at a 60% chance of showers and thunderstorms. Mostly cloudy, 58 for the overnight low with west winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. For your Wednesday, we're looking at a 50% chance of showers and thunderstorms, mostly cloudy, 74 for a high with north winds 5 to 10. For tomorrow night, a 50% chance of showers and thunderstorms, mostly cloudy, 57 for an overnight low. Thursday, a 40% chance of showers and thunderstorms, mostly cloudy, 75. 30% for Thursday night as well. Friday, a 40% chance of showers, partly cloudy, and 75. And then looking at the weekend, 30% chance of rain Saturday, partly cloudy, 73. 40% chance on Sunday, partly cloudy, 75. But the part I do like, 70s. All up and down the board there. Makes me a little happy. Not going to lie. It's not the rain part. All right, it is 18 minutes after 8. We're going to take a 2.5-minute commercial break, and then we're going to play our interview with the Chaves County 4-H kids out at the fair, slinging ice cream. That's up next. Don't go away.
The VA reports 149,756 military veterans living here in New Mexico. What doesn't get reported much are steps to improve their quality of life and honor their service. Did you know that major improvements are coming to our only long-term skilled nursing home for New Mexico veterans? Back in July, Governor Michelle Lujan Grisham announced $60 million for upgrades and new home-like residences at the state's Veterans Home in Tier C. And she cut New Mexico's income tax on military retirement for the next 5 years. She's invested millions of dollars towards veteran cemeteries, a new Vietnam memorial wall, and towards the construction of a new Navajo Code Talkers Museum and Veterans Center in New Mexico. And she approved major upgrades to the Baton Memorial Park near Silver City this year, too. As the daughter of a military veteran, Governor Michelle Lujan Grisham is a champion of New Mexico vets they can count on. Let's keep her.
Paid for by New Mexicans for Michelle.
Approved by Michelle Lujan Grisham.
Fall is in the air at the Calico Cow Fabric and Gift Shop in downtown Roswell. The Cow is utterly stocked with lots of fun fall time and even holiday fabrics marked down 10% to get you ready for the seasons ahead. Now's the time to give your sewing machine a spa day. The Calico Cow now has 2 certified sewing machine technicians, so call ahead and bring your machine by for a quick turnaround. And look for new classes all month long at the Calico Cow Fabric and Gift Shop in downtown Roswell. Want to know how? Come see the Cow.
Nutrient Ag Solutions, formerly Crop Production Services, is the world's largest supplier of crop inputs and services and is helping growers feed the future. While providing superior customer service, you can rely on Nutrien to deliver safe products on time to any location. If you need it, they have it. Nutrien understands your business and your needs. It's central to who they are. For more information on products and services, call Nutrient Ag Solutions, formerly Crop Production Services, at 575-748-3510. Nutrien, feeding the future.
Pecos Valley Equipment, your John Deere dealer for Roswell and Artesia, congratulates the Eastern New Mexico State Fair on 100 years. Come out to all the shows, enjoy all the entertainment, the music, the food, and the rides as the Eastern New Mexico State Fair celebrates 100 years, October 3rd through the 8th. And Pecos Valley Equipment invites you to tune in to KSVPTV.com for all the junior livestock events. Come celebrate 100 years with the Eastern New Mexico State Fair. Pecos Valley Equipment, your Roswell and Artesia John Deere dealer, a proud sponsor of the Eastern New Mexico State Fair.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. Linen can absorb up to 20 times its weight in moisture before it feels damp. Now, you don't have to get up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom anymore. Here's Mike Winters.
Good morning. It is 21 minutes after 9 o'clock, and joining us in studio this morning, wearing their Chaves County 4-H hats, figuratively, of course. Of course, Andrew Stapp back with us here. Also, we have a pair of 4-Hers, Bailey Swinney and Dub Swinney. Good morning. Good morning, guys. How y'all doing? And then also Amy Owens as well. Good morning.
Good morning.
How's everybody doing today?
Doing good.
Good.
Great.
Good. Are you guys ready for the fair?
Yes.
Yes.
Are you excited? You've been kind of waiting for a while to do this and kind of ready for this week of fairing?
Yes.
Nice. Plus, you get the day off for school today. That's kind of a bonus.
No. And I don't get off school.
Oh, yeah.
When you're homeschooled, you don't get it off.
There is no day off.
In with livestock and ice cream brother now.
Well, maybe you can take a break from lessons to work on fair stuff today.
No, I have to.
So I'm guessing you guys don't have to participate in the fair or in the parade, because otherwise you guys would be out at the parade or at the Bull Bowl right now. So are you the ones that have to make sure you're opening the shop at noon today?
Yes.
All right.
We
You're
work
the first shift?
Yes, sir. Yep.
All right.
They're opening it up at noon today and going to be ready to serve some nice cold ice cream.
Excellent. For folks that are just joining us and thinking, what is he talking about? Let me fill you in. For people that have gone to the Eastern New Mexico State Fair any year, just been there, they may have noticed one of the more popular places at the fair is the big ice cream shop that's right there. It's adjacent to the commercial building, even though if you look at it as a building, it's in front. But if you go in, you can kind of cut through and get in there. But it's so technically it's a part of, but it kind of its own building in front there. But this year, the Chaves County 4-H have taken over the ice cream booth, and now you're the official ice cream vendors from that shop here at the Eastern New Mexico State Fair.
Correct.
So for all the folks that make it a tradition, as you should, to visit that, either coming or going or coming and going, while you're getting into the fair building or coming out of the fair building or the commercial building there, we would love to have you come and get an extra scoop of ice cream this time, because all of the money that you're buying those shakes and ice cream with is going back to support Chaves County 4-H.
Correct.
So, which, much of the fair supports Chaves County 4-H and FFA and many of the farm and ranching community here. But specifically, when you're buying ice cream cones and milkshakes and cups of ice cream out at the shop this week, you're helping support Chaves County 4-H. So
yeah.
So let me ask, what clubs within 4-H do you two participate in?
Well, we're on the council.
Okay.
And that's not really a club, but
okay.
And then we're a part of the Country Kids 4-H club, and
okay.
So
Is that the group that shows a lot of the animals and the ranching side?
Each club does, but
okay.
our club does a lot of the livestock and the indoor exhibits. So
okay.
We're kind of we each do everything.
Gotcha. So just curious, when you're not slinging ice cream in the ice cream booth, are you guys going to be showing animals and things this week too?
Thursday.
All right. What animals are you guys showing? What's Thursday?
Steers.
Steer show. Okay, so you guys handle the big ones.
Yes, sir.
How long have you guys been? Is this your first year with steers? You've been doing this for a couple of years now.
This is my 4th year, and I'm pretty sure
it's my 3rd year.
Okay.
Doing steers.
Has it gotten easier since you've, I'm assuming, grown a little bit in the last couple of years?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Imagine when you're like younger and like 3 foot tall. Moving that 1,000-pound animal around is probably not the easiest thing. Not saying that, you got that much bigger since then and these are still giant, but at least you kind of know the way and learn, the right way to move one and the wrong way to move one animal and all that good stuff. So
we still learn stuff like more each year, but
I would imagine, yeah.
Still, oh my gosh, so much fun.
I'm curious. Now, how old are you guys?
I'm
if you don't
13.
Mind me? You're 13?
I'm 15.
You're 15. I'm assuming you're brother and sisters, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Not married couple. Just checking. You share the same last name. Just want to confirm. Don't want to make any assumptions. But anyway, so how long have you guys been involved in 4-H and doing showing and being a part of 4-H?
My older brother started when he was 5, so we've been doing it ever since then.
Okay. So did your older brother kind of like watching him do it?
Yeah.
Kind of say, well, all right.
And everything else and all the other people just pretty much inspired us and was our role model. So, and I just want to be role models to others.
Sure. So, what's your favorite aspect of 4-H? What's the part you've loved doing the most so far in your time in 4-H?
As being in high school, I think right now it's like the public speaking, being on the council and being
coming on the radio.
And
talking with weirdos like me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then doing the ice cream parlor, it's not public speaking really, but it's customer service. And I really enjoy getting to teach people about 4-H and about what we get to do. And it's not all about the animals.
Sure.
Because some people live in town, so they might not get to. So they can do all
They don't have the
kinds of
space
stuff.
for a steer to raise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it's just life skills that you can learn that you can't learn in school and that some people might not be learning at home.
Okay.
And it's just, I like to help people with a lot of it.
So it's giving you a chance to get out there and learn about the community, meet the community, and find the parts that you want to pitch in and help more with. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Deb, your sister answered a lot. I'm going to make you answer some questions too. What's your part? What's your favorite part? What have you enjoyed most about your time in 4-H so far?
Probably the showing and just the activities that you get to do in 4-H.
Okay. Well, how many different animals have you shown since you've been in 4-H?
I've shown rabbits, chickens, pigs, and steers.
Which one's the most difficult?
Probably steers.
Gotcha. Just because of the sheer size of everything you're doing?
I'd say rabbits.
But I don't know, because rabbits can be, pardon the pun, but cagey. And they might keep you active. Same with the pigs. I've watched pig shows. And I've never seen someone just calmly sitting there at a pig show. Everyone's scrambling around trying to manage them with the boards and move them. And it looks kind of wild, but there is some organization to it. It's just, you're not sure how it is. There is some. But cool. So the steers probably your... Do you guys do any other other projects within 4-H other than showing animals? Do you get involved in the computer side or maybe some of the home ec stuff? Or
I've never done the computer stuff.
Or shooting sports?
I do everything else.
They're in shooting sports.
Shooting sports, okay.
And then we quilt. We decorated cakes this year, which was fun.
Of course, we've had some of your peers on from the shooting sports side a couple times. They've been doing pretty well over the last year in their shooting competitions and things. So
and And last year we didn't come on the radio, but Bailey actually went to the National Horse Bowl contest in Denver in January this last year.
So is that for showing horses or?
No, it's like Jeopardy. That's pretty much the best
knowledge
way
of horse, equine health, and all that kind of stuff.
Yes.
Okay.
For those of you that may still know what Jeopardy is, because usually when I say that, these kids are like, "I don't. What's Jeopardy?"
Yeah, now
That's like the best way I can explain it, though.
It
so
is.
I'm like Jeopardy.
Well, the best I can say, it stars the girl from The Big Bang Theory. Now that's is one of the hosts. Then and the guy that used to be on Jeopardy before. If you didn't know Jeopardy, he's not going to help you if I tell you so.
Right.
But you might, if you were my age, I might get away with Blossom is now doing it. But if I said Blossom, does that mean anything to you guys?
No.
No.
Well, do you know who Mayim Bialik is? The girl we're talking about from Big Bang Theory?
Amy Farrah Fowler.
Amy Farrah Fowler from Big Bang Theory?
No.
Well, the actress that plays her is named Mayim Bialik. She's now one of the hosts of Jeopardy before Alex Trebek did it. But prior to her being famous for being Amy Farrah Fowler, around people around our age, she was on a teenage show called Blossom. And it was like on Disney Channel or one of those. And so her and her brother, not real brother, but brother on the show, Joey Lawrence, got very popular during that time as teen heartthrobs and things like that. So some people kind of know her as Blossom. They just classed over. They've completely, they're like, when are we going to eat ice cream again? I lost them. Sorry. So let me ask, outside of 4-H, what do you guys like to do in school and other hobbies? What's interests and things you like to do when you're not doing things for 4-H?
They don't do anything but 4-H.
You mean there's things to do outside of?
They are very much a 4-H family.
Okay.
And,
Is there? But I mean, what's your hobbies, Pat? What do you like to do? Is there certainly when it's you just unwind, and what do you like to do?
Sleep.
Eat food. They are teenagers. Yeah. That's kind of the mantra for many teenagers.
I don't get to sleep very often, but when I do, it's very nice.
Okay.
So.
I just didn't know if you like. I love to sit down and read a book every once in a while. Okay.
I have to read for school, and that's about the most reading I'll do.
Okay.
That's about it.
I think that opinion will change when you get older.
I bet it will. But
I hope so.
Once you're not forced to read because someone's making you do it, and you just get to find something you like to do, you'll pick it up. And if I could make a suggestion to you guys is find a book. Go pick any book. I don't care what it is. Something that just piques your interest, and just take a look at it. And if you get to read it for you, not because a teacher told you to, or a mom or dad told you to do it, because you looked at the cover and looked like something you want to check out. Just like you watch a movie or something. When you're scrolling Netflix or whatever, ones that look good, you're like, let's watch that. Ones that don't look good, same thing with reading. Look at the cover, look at the thing. Oh, that one looks like a snooze fest. I better stay away from that. Ooh, this one's in my wheelhouse. It's
a lot of the books that I've been reading this year for school, I like them a lot.
Oh, good. Maybe you'll find something. As you get older, you're gonna, because what's gonna happen when you get older and life will get busy. Not that you have busy lives now, but when you start your own families and things one day, you're going to notice that you're going to have less and less time for you. So you got to find things that you get to do that no one else gets to do with you. That's your own thing. And I think reading is one of those for a lot of people. So, but you'll find yours. Whatever it is. Maybe it's, I don't know, hanging out with the steer on the back, whatever it is that you're into. Everyone's got their own thing that makes them be good, or makes them happy. So,
yep.
Good deal. So now let's talk ice cream. Are you guys fans of ice cream?
Oh, yes. Absolutely.
Like,
absolutely.
Do you guys have restraint? Because that would be my problem. If I'm there at noon working today, I'm like, one scoop for you, one scoop for me, one scoop for you.
That's just too much ice cream.
That's not allowed.
I had to train myself last year when we were working it because it looked so good.
I would agree with you until you're there. And then you're there and you're like, all right, one more.
Well, like the leftover milkshakes, we would it was Courtney's idea. We would put them in a cup and then we would drink those. Because there was not that much.
That's just good stewards of the product. If it was going to be trash anyway, Miles will enjoy it in somebody's belly.
Other than the pecan praline, we threw that away. That was gross.
Not a cup. So you don't recommend the pecan praline?
Now you're getting personal.
Not for me. A lot of people like it, and they're like, it's the best. I'm like, you're weird. We have different tastes, but still.
We don't have pecan praline this year. We did switch it to butter pecan because we had some requests for that last year.
So can we unveil the flavor selections, or is there too many to unveil?
There's only 5.
5.
Is in it cookies and cream, chocolate, vanilla, strawberry, and the
butter pecan. Mm-hmm.
Well, so basically the hits.
Yes.
You know, chances are if you like ice cream, which almost everybody does.
Yes.
One of those flavors, you're going to be something you like.
Yes.
I mean, like I'm a chocolate guy. Whatever. I stopped at chocolate. I heard butter pecan, but I was like, yeah, I don't care. And of course, you guys are doing the cones, the cups, and milkshakes as well.
And milkshakes, yep.
Good deal. So if you want to, have you ever had like flavor mixing shake requests?
Yes.
No, we're not allowed to do that.
All right, that is off limits. Okay.
We're not allowed to, but they've asked.
Okay, I will say yes, they have asked. That is not allowed. It's not programmed into the cash register.
Gotcha. You're like, I don't know what to do.
Don't do that.
You know what you can do? Here's the move. Buy 2 shakes.
There you go.
Yeah. Ask for a third cup. Pour it in one. Pour it in. Now you got 3 shakes.
Buy 2 smalls, and then you can mix it into a large cup.
Strawberry butter pecan. There you go. Which I don't know if that combination would work, but I bet like a chocolate and butter pecan would work, or
a strawberry chocolate. That's the one that was requested.
Oh, was it? But I could see easily like a chocolate butter pecan. Or, anything with vanilla is useless because everything's kind of based with vanilla.
I'm going to have to ask, have you been talking with Drew?
But I could easily see chocolate butter pecan as a legit flavor that would be good.
Yeah.
Like if you like that sweet, nutty, buttery, but you like chocolate.
Mm-hmm.
I think that pairs well.
That's what you're going to be requesting, aren't you?
I'm going to try. I got 2 hands and nothing in them. Let's put them in there.
So the other thing that we've added this year is we've have a collaboration with Wild West Sodas.
Oh, good.
And so if you want to, you can get
situations.
Yes, you can go get a float. You can buy our ice cream and go over there and get a soda of your choice on top of it.
Excellent. Now I'm going to state something here because this is serious. As a root beer float connoisseur and as a chocolate ice cream connoisseur, I love both of those things.
Mm-hmm.
However, I have learned this lesson the hard way. When drinking root beer floats, you need to stick to the vanilla. It just does not work right with the chocolate ice cream. It just does not. and people are going to be mad at me about this one, but Coke floats aren't root beer floats.
No.
Coke floats do not taste like root beer floats.
Mm-hmm.
They're not as good as a root beer float. Are they a suitable substitution? Yeah, in a pinch. But I'm a purist. It's got to be vanilla ice cream. It's got to be root beer.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the rule. Everything else is a bad attempt at trying to make a root beer float.
Mm-hmm.
So go get you a sarsaparilla. It's the same thing, just fancier. When you're over at the wagon there getting your sodas, and then get you a couple dollops of vanilla ice cream to put in there. So now, trust me, if you don't believe me, get you chocolate. To be honest, I never tried strawberry butter pecan, so I can't give you a base sample. But chocolate does not work in root beer. You'd be the last person to ever kick a chocolate out of anything. I'm pro chocolate everything. Root beer floats, it does not work.
I wonder if you could try their black cherry soda with the chocolate ice cream.
That might work a little bit better. Kind of a Cherry Garcia type vibe going on there. Maybe that kind of thing. But I can tell you from experience, chocolate ice cream or root beer, I wanted it to work real bad. I was on team for this, and it just did not.
It didn't work out.
How about you guys? You ever experiment with weird combos?
Yeah.
Yes.
All the time.
Is it surprised it worked for you?
Yeah.
That's
Sometimes.
probably Dub's hobby.
Yeah.
Dub's an experimenter, huh?
Yes.
So I've got to ask now, what's your greatest concoction in your mind?
Well, it wasn't the best, but I put lime juice, lemon juice, and hot sauce in it.
In ice cream?
No, not in ice cream.
Oh.
No,
it was just straight up lemon and lime juice with hot sauce. And it was actually...
And you just drank it?
Yes.
Yeah, he just drank it.
It wasn't like a sauce or a marinade or something?
It was disgusting.
I bet it was.
It wasn't the best.
Let's take all these tart and hot things and put them together. I'm sure it's delicious. Well, don't request that at the ice cream booth. I don't think they'll let him serve
that. Will not be there. But we do have sprinkles and cherries that you can add to the top.
So if you want to get
for free.
a cup and make it Sunday-like. You can do that with the sprinkles and the zhuzh it up.
Yes, sir.
But you do not have to if you like it au natural.
That is correct.
Specifically on, I would also, it depends on what your next activity is. Like if you got time to slow and meander a little bit, maybe a nice cone or a cup, but if you're on the go, the shake or maybe the cone, but you got to go fast with the cone because it's the fair. It's going to get hot. You're going to be, you go from one bill to the next, and you got to always lick from the sides down, up. It's to keep it clean.
Yeah.
Keep it clean. That's how you got to do it. There's a whole ritual, way to do that. So.
Yes.
But please, it opens today, beginning at 12 noon, and it'll be open till 9 o'clock tonight.
9 o'clock.
So pretty much all day at the fair. When the parade, everything's going to wrap up here. When you head to the fairgrounds, high noon, the ice cream store will be open.
Yes.
And then after today, it'll be open the rest of the fair from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. each night.
Yes.
So Saturday, I know if you get to, because usually rides and everything start early on Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
Get your lunch, go get you your whatever meat on a stick or whatever, and then about 5 o'clock, get your dessert on, because that's when the ice cream store will open up. And that'll be about the concert times. We'll start getting underway and all that good stuff for Saturday night, too. So, and then I would always say, if you're going to go into the commercial building, use the ice cream shop as your gateway to admission. That way you don't, because once you're done going through the ice cream shop and you're covered with the ice cream face and all that stuff, then you're going to peruse through, and there's usually a little shop there.
New Mexico store is there.
The New Mexico store,
Yes.
which I have yet to get out of that place without buying something.
Mm-hmm.
It's been there I don't know how many years, and every year I'm out there with a green chili rub or a green chili sauce or something that I love every time, and I will be there. But now you got two awesome things, and you haven't even stepped foot in the commercial building yet. Then you officially go in the commercial building, and you can visit all the booths in there and help the profits and nonprofits alike that are part of that. So.
We also have a scavenger hunt, so that will take you through the livestock barns and the education building.
Okay.
And that you can roll the dice to see if you get a free scoop of ice cream.
Ooh, so you can pick up your list at the ice cream shop?
Yes. So you'll want to come to the ice cream parlor, get the list, and then you can go on the hunt and then come back.
Do me a favor. Once you get the list, fold it up, put it in your pocket, then eat your ice cream.
Yeah.
Because I know what's going to happen. You don't do that, and then these lists are getting turned back in, and it looks like a Picasso painting with ice cream splashes all over it. You're like, is that chocolate? I didn't even think they had that flavor. What is that? Is that barbecue?
Yes.
But just for curiosity's sake, what are some of the kind of items that folks will be looking for during the scavenger? What kind of, just like look for a clover leaf somewhere, look for...
Yeah, so there will be a clover cone that they're going to be looking for, and then there's a question associated with that. So they're going to have to look in that area for the answer to that question.
Okay, perfect. So please.
Yes. While
you're there getting ice cream, get out there, and who knows, you might win some more free ice cream.
Yes.
So, and then, like I said, come early, come often. There's once a day, and you're okay.
Yes.
With your diet. And it's at the fair. Don't take the ice cream off fairgrounds.
And the calories don't count.
The calories don't count. This is science. I didn't make this up. This is just science. Fair food does not count when you eat fair food at the fair.
Mm-hmm.
The moment you take it off property, it doubles.
Right.
So get your nice bench, booth, table while you can sit down and enjoy your ice cream and everything there too. And then, of course, I do want to remind folks, when you're out at the fair all this week, everyone comes and enjoys the rides and everything. Tomorrow they're doing the discount ride night where you pay admission. I think it's $22. I don't remember off the top of my head, but that gets you into everything. You get a ride band. That's tomorrow only. So the price is going to be a little higher tomorrow, but you get more with that ticket, including some included rides and things like that. But my point is, while you're out there, come out there and go to these things, support the different things. But when you're not riding the rides and eating the food and all that, make a plan to visit the livestock ring and the education building. Those are arguably the two most important buildings at the fairgrounds.
I agree.
However, a lot of people just miss them because they want to ride that ride. I want to eat chicken fingers. want to get free swag in the commercial building. They by the time they get good and tired, then they don't make it in there. Please go to the education building, see all the cool exhibits in there, see the hard work of not just the kids, but the people of really Eastern New Mexico that are participating in the fair. Artwork to crafts to home ec stuff. I'm telling you, if you're looking for art, the fair might be a place for you to buy art. I know this is something that you don't think about. They'll go to the artist gallery or one of our great places here, but it's not uncommon for people to see art up there and make bids and offers on some of this. And some of the artists are I'll sell it, or no, I want to keep it. It's for me. But that does happen. And so I defy you to tell the difference between adult artwork and kid artwork in some of these rooms. You walk in, I see these paintings, I'm like, oh my God, that's amazing. And then I look, it's done by a 9-year-old. I'm like, wow, that's brilliant. And that's the kind of stuff you find in the education building. And a lot of people miss it because they're busy eating chicken on a stick and riding, which is fun.
Right, yep.
But go be a part of that too. Go visit the model railroaders in there. They're as much of the tradition of the fair as anything else out there. And they need recruits and more people to kind of keep that tradition going. So come visit them, see that. Of course, the giant pumpkins is one thing I love to go in there because the pumpkin growers, that's a huge smack talk thing. And they grow these gelatinous pumpkins that don't look like pumpkins. They just look like orange goo that just kind of melted into this form of a pumpkin with a stem. They're too big
I don't know if I've seen pumpkins this year. Have you guys seen pumpkins this year?
Yes, I saw them the other day.
Yeah. They get too big for the structurally soundness of a pumpkin. They just kind of melt. But anyway, you miss out on all that. And then go see a livestock show. I don't care if you don't know 2 things about the animal or what they're looking at or any of that stuff. Just go walk to the show ring. I don't care what show it is. Could be roosters, could be heifers, could be pigs, could be any of them. Horse, any of the animals. Just watch it. Watch the hard work of these kids. Watch it. And I was kind of joking with them earlier about handling the steers and everything. To me, that's the most impressive thing, to see these young kids learning the ways of farming and ranching and literally doing things that you're like, that kid should, like, you almost think they're not old enough to be doing that. It's like, that animal's big, man. And they do it. And they've been doing it. And to me, that's so cool to see that. I know you guys do it and don't think much of it, but a lot of us didn't grow up in that environment. So it's kind of nice for us to see that. So please enjoy all aspects of the fair this year.
Yeah.
So, and then at least get 1 ice cream cone a day.
Yes.
That's your minimum requirement.
Not 2.
You are free and encouraged to get more, but I'm requiring 1 from you. In case there's some lactose-free, people that don't do dairy too well.
Right.
Maybe just limit you to 1 for the sake of your friends and relatives. But the rest of us load up on that.
Yes.
Good deal. So do you guys have a favorite? Shake, cone, or cup? What's your go-to?
Shake.
Okay.
Or shake.
Shake. I tend to agree, mostly. But sometimes a cone hits the spot. It just does. But yeah, I agree with the shake, because the shake, you feel like you get more run with it, because you got to shake it up because it gets thick and you got to work it. And where the cone, you're like, what happened? It's gone. The shake, you feel like you got a little more to savor. But anyway, that's just me. What's flavor-wise?
Strawberry.
Strawberry?
Probably cookies and cream.
Cookies, and can't go wrong with that. Although you need a spoon with cookies and cream, or you're going to blow a coronary up here trying to suck a cookie through that straw.
Hey, not if the kids blend them properly, huh?
That's true.
Yeah. If we get it good and blended.
Well, don't too much, because lumps are homemade. We want lumps. Very good. What other 4-H stuff we want to put on people's radars, or anything else that we want to make sure we let folks know about, whether fair or just 4-H in general?
So it is October 1st. It's a new 4-H year. And actually in the ice cream parlor as well, we have a display about 4-H. Starting Wednesday, we'll have some kids in there when the ice cream parlor is open, there to answer questions about 4-H.
Okay.
The Tractor Supply Clover sale starts then. And so we'll be there answering questions, taking donations for that as well.
Okay.
But you can also make donations at the store.
And, of course, if you're interested in learning about 4-H for your children, come to the ice cream booth. There'll be an adult there to talk to. I'm sure you're not going to be there the whole time. But
not the whole time, in and out, but I have great volunteers like Amy that are parents that are working the shifts, too, with the kids and kind of giving them some guidance and leadership.
Yeah.
And
so ask questions. Ask about the different ways children can be a part of 4-H. And like these two were saying, it's not all about farming and ranching, too. Is it part of the fabric? You betcha. It's very much part. But one does not have to come from that background or understand that background to take advantage of 4-H.
No.
And so come learn the other aspects of 4-H too while you're out at the fair. You know, have a chat over a cone.
Yes.
And then by all means, please go see the shows. Go see. I'm telling you, it's really cool. And then remind folks one more time to, of course, the kind of the Super Bowl event of the Eastern New Mexico State Fair is always the Junior Livestock Sale that will take place Saturday morning. And I'd love to have folks come on out and watch that, and of course bid and participate. Yep. I know the numbers go flying, and you're like, "There's no way I can afford this," but this is money either for college or for the next projects for these next 4-Hers, FFA, all the kids that are involved. So we get a lot of great support from some great local people here. But pull together. You got a couple buddies like, I can't afford to drop 10 grand on an animal, but I can give you 100, and my buddy give you 100, and you can combine together. And that's a great way for you to support these kids without you having to, pay for a $10,000 cow or something.
Right. Yes. It's called an add-on, where you can just add to what the child has already received from the bid.
Yeah, it's a great way for you to get involved, and it's entertaining. Get you an ice cream cone, get you a spot in the bleachers, and watch the numbers fly. It is, it's fun to watch. So all of that, and of course the rides, the concerts, and everything else that's going to be out there at the fair. Make some plans to attend, but do not leave the fairgrounds without walking through the ice cream shop.
Yes.
You are doing yourself a disservice. And quite frankly, it's un-American not to. Do it for America.
Yes.
Anybody you guys want to say hi to real quick while we got you here? Any friends, family?
I don't know who. No, I don't even know.
Boyfriends, girlfriends? Anybody want to say hi to?
My boyfriend knows I'm here. I ain't gonna say hi to him. I'll see him later.
He's like, you better say hi to me. What are you talking about?
I'm sure he's not even listening.
Probably not.
Nobody?
No.
Again, tell everybody what shows you're going this week. You said Thursday with the steer, right?
Yes.
Steer show. Good deals. That's where you guys will be. So don't look for them at the ice cream shop that day. They'll be. Do you bribe the steers with ice cream? Or is that not work?
No. We do horse treats.
And they're not ice cream.
They need to behave, so I don't bait mine right now. But
for that reason alone, I'm glad I'm not a steer, because I would be upset if I didn't get
ice cream.
They don't know. They have no idea.
Yeah. And Andrea, if people can't make it out to the fair but want to learn more about 4-H and perhaps get more information about that and start signing up, would be best to kind of steer them to the Facebook pages, probably?
Yeah, so our NMSU Travis County 4-H Facebook page. We post an events of the week every Monday. And then this week we'll be posting about the results of the fair from our county kids. Or come by the extension office. We're 200 East Chisholm Street, number 4, the southwest door of the health department building. We're there Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. You can also give us a call, 575-622-3210.
Very good. Yeah, and if you want to talk about other things that aren't 4-H related, like, nutrition and home ec or like ag stuff, there's other people that you can talk to too. But if you want to talk 4-H, Andrew's your official resource. Drew and them others,
Drew and Tamara can handle the rest.
They know a lot of stuff, but not 4-H. But no, joking aside, if you've got questions about ag, pecan weevil, or anything related to diabetes and things like that, those two individuals will help you with all of that stuff.
Yes.
So I kid when I say these things.
Yes.
Good deals. Or anything we missed? Anything you guys wanted to share that we just failed to talk about or skip over? Or did we get it all?
I think we got it all. Did you guys think we got it all?
Anything in your clubs you want to promote? Any events or any fundraisers or anything you got going on?
I don't think we're doing any fundraisers right now.
Okay.
I mean, we might.
Just the tractor supply.
Just the tractor supply sale, I think.
Okay.
That's it.
And that's going to be, you guys will have a booth at the fair where you can buy tickets for that and stuff.
Yeah, you just make donations, and then also when you go to Tractor Supply, you'll be prompted when you check out to round up for 4-H or add a donation.
So you just by shopping there, you're helping out. For, 4-H here in Travis County.
Yep, so. And also so the majority of it stays here in Travis County. A part of it goes to the national 4-H, and part of it goes to the state 4-H.
For the sake of 4-H here, fellas, they got jewelry over there. I'm just saying. They got kind of fancy, expensive stuff over there too. So if you want to, spend extra money over there to help out 4-H, just saying, some Brighton stuff or something like, something kind of fancy. They got that too.
Just round up your total and that'd be great.
Yeah. Yeah. Spend big and that way you can donate big. So, anyway, but if you come early, come often, visit the ice cream shop out at this year's Eastern New Mexico State Fair. Again, follow your happy people. That's where they're going. But it's the building right smack dab in front of the commercial building, little building there. They got nice little grass area there. You can sit trees. I think there's a couple benches out there for you to sit.
Yeah, there's a tent. And we also do have a big ice cream sign. And there also will be a flag, like a feather flag that has the 4-H clover on it. So you can look for those and you'll find us there.
And the best part about it, it's conveniently located right near the radio trailer that we in across from it. Yes. Someone was thinking when they parked us there. So right by the ice cream. I know what they're thinking. Yeah.
Yep.
They're thinking that guy's going to spend money at the ice cream place, and they're not wrong.
Yes. And also when you're in the education building, you can also get your tickets for Christmas Showcase.
Oh, great.
And buy
Which
raffle
will be in
tickets.
November, right?
Yes, November 15th.
And those go fast, so if you get first dibs here at the fair, might want to take advantage.
Yes, because there's 2 showings, 1:30 and 6:30, so you'll definitely want to pick up your tickets in advance because that reserves a book for you. So that because we have ran out at the show before.
And the food samplings and all that's awesome. But the real treasure, people taking that book home to practice and learn all these different, not just recipes but crafts and everything else that's holiday related through the extension office.
Yep, and there'll be educational booklets out there too, and the extension clubs have put in booths from the last year's leaders trainings, so you want to make sure to come check those out as well.
I know those books get a little collectory.
Yes.
Do you ever get requests for years past books?
Oh, yes, all the time.
Is that something you guys have, or are they generally gone and
I know we have the past 3 or 4 years available, and they're available at the office to buy all the time.
But much past that, you might be a little more slim picking there.
Yeah. Okay. Or we'd have to do a little bit more digging.
Sure. Well, I'm just trying to tell you they're popular. They're something that are coveted and sought after. So treat them with the expensiveness that they really, the value that they truly hold.
They make good gifts too for friends and family.
Yeah, if you got people that love looking for ideas and stuff like that, you probably just scored a huge hit on the shopping list there with them. So
yes.
Don't tell them you Xerox didn't keep a copy for yourself. Tell them you save money on it, but
And just pay another $5 and get another book.
There you go. You do that too. So, very good. Well, thank you very much. Have a great week. Good luck at the fair, both serving ice cream and showing animals. Hopefully it all goes well. What's do you have a favorite thing you do at the fair? Is there a ride or a activity you do every year no matter what?
Show? Well, no.
I mean, something you didn't have to do. You're there to show and all that, but
I have to do?
Something you don't have to do. Is there I always love to go walk over to this booth or this.
Or a food that you like to get every time.
Or a ride or something.
That's about it.
Funnel cake.
Funnel cake.
I want funnel cake.
Mine's ribbon fries.
Oh, ribbon fries are bomb.
Mm-hmm.
What do you put on your funnel cake? What's your toppings?
Sugar.
That's it? Just plain?
Mm-hmm. I'm not all bougie.
I respect that.
A ton of stuff.
To be honest, I respect that because you're right. Less is more sometimes.
And original.
Sometimes they dump all the fruit and you lose the funnel cake.
Yep.
And you don't want to do that.
Yep.
So I maybe I see your point. So what about you, Dub? You have a certain activity event thing you hit every time at the fair?
Every time, probably. Either be going to Wild West Sodas or rope with my friends.
Ah. Rope with your friends, not rope your friends.
Well, I do that too.
Yeah.
Adding a word here and there just changes the whole sentence. So same with commas. You move them around, it can change a whole meaning here. So, but
have you noticed the days are getting shorter? This is Jim Gill from Roswell Seed Company. I know it's kind of hard to tell, but we're on the downhill side of the year, so every day is a couple of minutes shorter than the one before, even though your plants need plenty of food and water to keep them healthy. Like those globe willows that are turning yellow. A good dose of the right fertilizer will make them bright green again. No matter what the problems you're having, we probably have a cure at Roswell Seed Company. But come see us soon, because winter's coming, you know.
If you need a Kubota that works and plays hard, stop looking. You'll find everything you need at Amigo Machinery. When it comes to tough Kubota tractors, mowers, construction equipment, and utility vehicles, all with low-rate financing, Amigo Machinery is your one-stop shop. We are passionately committed to providing our customers with the highest quality products, most innovative solutions, and services delivered with integrity and professionalism. Stop by Amigo Machinery in Roswell or see us online at amigo-machinery.com.
Prepare for the scare. The city of Roswell presents Night of the Living Zoo, October 28th and 29th at the Spring River Zoo, with spooktastic fun for the whole family, including carnival games, a bouncing castle, carousel, and of course, trick-or-treating with lots of candy. Wear your Halloween costumes and prepare for the affair of the spooky season. Admission is only $5. Kids 3 and under are free. Get tickets and more info at roswell-connect.com. Night of the Living Zoo, October 28th and 29th at the Spring River Zoo in Roswell. See you there.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. 1 in 3 snake bite victims is
hurricane-battered Florida as a death toll rises. More than 400,000 utility customers still without power as crews work around the clock to restore service. And Hurricane Ian is blamed for at least 104 deaths. With the massive destruction left behind by Hurricane Ian, Town Hall News and our companion news network SRN, partnering with Christian nonprofit relief organization Food for the Poor to rush emergency supplies and portable generators to survivors in Georgia, the Carolinas, and Florida. More information is available on the website srnnews.com. All eyes were on the skies over Japan earlier today as a North Korean ballistic missile passed by, splashing down in the Pacific.
North Korea has launched a record number of missiles this year as it refines and increases its weapons. But this is the first time in 5 years it's directed one over Japan. This significant escalation comes days after the United States held a series of naval exercises with Japan and South Korea.
That's a BBC's Gene McKenzie reporting from Seoul. Amid Russian military setbacks in Ukraine, there's still no lack of speculation as to whether Russia's Vladimir Putin would resort to nuclear weapons, as he has repeatedly threatened to do. A country music legend has passed away. Loretta Lynn has died. Her family says the coal miner's daughter from Butcher Holler passed away this morning at her home in Hurricane Mills, Tennessee. Loretta Lynn was 90 years old. Watching Wall Street this morning, the rally rolls on. Right now, the Dow is up 747 points, a gain of 2.5%. The NASDAQ ahead, 365. More on these stories, townhall.com.
Charlie Dombeck here from Key City Capital. As a practicing CPA for nearly 30 years, I have found that 80% of your ability to grow your wealth is dependent upon 2 factors: taxes and investment performance. At Key City Capital, we improve investment performance by diversifying capital into off-market investment opportunities in passive rental real estate and alternatives like asset-backed lending. We recover dollars that clients unnecessarily pay in the form of income taxes, creating a lifetime annuity of savings. We are a sponsor of passive, affordable single and multifamily residential rental investments, which are located in Sunbelt landlord-friendly states. These investments are the top choices in a rising interest rate and inflationary environment. They represent a store of value, protecting your capital from market volatility. Learn how we at Key City Capital can help you ultimately grow your wealth rapidly. Connect with me at keycitycapital.com or give me a call at 817-912-1569.
Police in India-administered Kashmir say the chief of the region's prison service has been murdered.
The body of the Director General of Prisons was found at his residence in the Jammu region. He had some burn injuries. Hemant Kumar Lohia was 57. His domestic helper is the main suspect. But the motive behind the murder is unclear. The incident happened as India's powerful Interior Minister Amit Shah visited the disputed Himalayan region, where there has been a decades-long insurgency. Police say initial investigations have not found any evidence linking the murder of Mr. Lohia to separatist insurgents.
That's the BBC's Embarrassing Etirajan. Indonesian police say the gates of the soccer stadium where police fired tear gas and set off a deadly crush were too small. Could only accommodate 2 at a time when hundreds were trying to escape. 125 people died. News and analysis, townhall.com. A judge has tossed out 8 more convictions tied to an ex-Chicago police officer.
For nearly a decade, former Sergeant Ronald Watts and his tactical unit framed people at a public housing complex for drug crimes, planting drugs or falsely accusing residents and others who were visiting or simply happened to be in the area. Watts and another officer pleaded guilty in 2013 to stealing money from an FBI informant. The latest 8 vacated convictions linked to Watts and his unit bring the total to 237. State's Attorney Kim Fox says the action provides just a fraction of relief for those who spent time in prison, and her office will continue to review cases. I'm Ben Thomas.
Edmunds.com reports new vehicle sales fell in the third quarter, and that was even with some improvement in the month of September. But any monthly gain may be short-lived because of high prices and rising interest rates. More on these stories, townhall.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man on this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The devil listen, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 6 minutes after 9 o'clock. Welcome to hour number 3.
Chris Invierno.
Of Mornings with Mike Winters, right here on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM. Happy Tuesday, everybody.
Yes.
I tweaked the headphone thing in blue, and I did Nintendo work.
You pulled Nintendo?
I did Nintendo work on the headphones here.
It sounds fantastic.
So far, I've heard no stuttering.
Yes.
So we'll see how that shapes up.
Mm-hmm.
But
you always said you weren't supposed to do that.
But it worked.
It worked. That's why we did it. And you know what? We didn't have the internet to find that out. We had kids told other kids about that.
Yes.
That's how everything got spread around.
We heard it through the grapevine.
Exactly. It's always boggling to me. It's like, how did things get around before there was an internet? And it's it's just kids on playgrounds talk.
You learn. Things. Just because the internet started, doesn't mean that was the start of rumors and
right.
All of that.
Like, you grew up in a completely different part of the country than I did.
Uh-huh.
I would venture to guess that you had a story somewhere in your community growing up about how there was somebody's friend who was passing somebody on the road who didn't have their headlights on.
Mm-hmm.
And they flashed their headlights to tell them to turn their headlights on.
Mm-hmm.
That person turned around, followed them, and ended up subsequently murdering them.
Yeah, a lot of similar stories.
But it's just weird. Like, all those like wives' tales just got spread around, and yet completely different parts of the country.
And I would even say this: we had in our neighborhood the story, and it was just us kids that started. There's probably no adults. What are you talking about?
Right.
Goatman lived in the back of the neighborhood.
Goatman. Dude, ours was called the Underhouse Man.
Yeah. Same thing.
Yep.
We all had them.
Yep.
It was something that we told each other to scare us to go. And ours was because growing up, I lived in a neighborhood that was being developed.
Right.
And when I first moved there, when I was like 1980, so I was like 7, we were like one of the first houses in the neighborhood. So, and then over the years, it built up to where there's thousands of houses.
Sure.
But during some of those years, it wasn't just a couple kids. But during that time, there was a section of the neighborhood that was like a barricade, then went into the woods, and eventually, now it's a more neighborhood. But back then, it was under
just some
construction.
trees and a wooded
So
area.
we see this barricade. It's like, what's beyond the barricade? Goatman. And that's where Goatman was. And so none of it's true.
Me and my friends, I had a friend who lived just down the alley from me, and then we would meet and we'd go to the house at the end of the alley, and they had this little how houses have the crawl space under the house, right? Which is
all of them have them in where I'm from,
which is wretched. I mean, it's disturbing and disgusting and vile. And this was exactly where we used to hang out all the time. I'm sure there was somebody living in the house that we were hanging out underneath, but we would just kick it under their house and just play cards and stuff. But then we started hearing like voices and like scratches and stuff, probably from the occupants of the house. But in our minds, it was the underhouse man coming back to claim his what was rightfully his.
Both of you are probably thinking raccoons. Probably that's what it was.
Yeah, it's probably right.
But yeah, I know exactly. Yeah, it's just everything in it, and they're all same or similar. You know, there's going to be a twist here and there in the story based on location,
right?
And you know, things, but for the most part, it's the same vein of you know, like I will never forget. Speaking of, John LeMay, storyteller, will be joining us in a little bit. So in honor of that, I'm going to tell you a story.
As we spin some yarns of our own.
So we had, is John here?
I thought I heard the phone.
Oh.
I guess not. I'll just keep my ears.
Yeah, keep your headphones off. That way you can.
I forgot I was Roy today.
So anyway, there was a story they used to tell us. And to be honest, they had props to join it, so it definitely cemented the story.
Oh, that always helps.
Yeah. So when I was in the Scouts, there was this campground area in Maryland. It was over in Indian Head, for those that care. In the town of Indian Head, there was a camp that was a cool camp. It was just in the woods there, but this Boy Scout troop years like back in the 30s. Even earlier, I think, had built these lean-tos and things at this campground there.
Right.
They had their own natural well creek where you could get fresh water. It was deep in the woods, hilly. It was really just a great place to camp. You know, it was just, and they built these lean-tos out there, so you didn't have to bring tents and things. It was kind of luxurious camping. And by that means we didn't have a tent.
It had a setup.
We had a lean-to. We slept in sleeping bags, and open lean-to with a big fire pit, and so it was kind of nice. It was one of our favorite places to camp. But there was a cabin, and when you turned in, there was a cabin where adult leaders could sleep, and so I think they had one or two of these cabins that were full cabins. The rest were just lean-tos out in the woods there. But so we would hang out the cabin, and they'd have a fire there, and we'd tell stories and do camping stuff.
Right.
And well, behind the cabin, there was a tombstone.
Oh.
An actual tombstone.
Okay.
And it was, I'm assuming, for a dog. Because it just said, I don't remember the name, but it was like one name, like David, or it was something like that. And then it had the years, and it was, I don't remember the years, but it was like a 10, 12-year span.
Okay.
Basically.
So it was either a pet or a tragedy.
Yes. Yeah, that's the phone. I heard that. But anyway, so there was this grave marker of what we assume is a dead pet. And so they made up this whole story about this hand that would come. And so they turned it that tombstone that was probably for a dog into the hand. And so they used to talk about, I'm sorry, not the hand, but the boy or something that was there, but he was missing a hand. And so the kid's buried there, and then the hand apparently walks around the camp looking for its owner. And so the whole point of the horror story was to so if you feel something tap you on the shoulder and then kind of go and tap you on the other shoulder and disappear, don't worry, it's just the hand looking for its owner. That was how they told the ghost story. But that one stuck with me so long, just because of that cabin and the place we were at. And then you go and they're like, oh yeah, and then you go see a tombstone and you're like, oh, it's real. And it just fit my young brain there. And to this day, I still remember that story. But Yeah, getting off on a tangent. We were talking about ghost stories and things and all that. That was one from the kid, from being a kid. As I joked about a few minutes ago, speaking of storytelling, John LeMay with the Historical Society for Southeast New Mexico is going to join us here in just a few minutes. Coming up here on Sunday, October the 23rd, the Historical Society will be hosting the Spooky Southwest Tales of Strange History. It's going to be happening at the Archives facility, which is right next to the museum there on Lee Street. And John LeMay and Donna Blake Burchell will be back, and they're going to be enchanting people with tales of strange history, including the cursed mummy of John Wilkes Booth. It's the man who assassinated President Lincoln, in case you're not familiar. The Navajo Witch Purge of 1878. Plus assorted hauntings and ghost stories from around the state. After the event, both John and Donna will be doing book signings, so you can get any of their books signed by them while you're there, and of course, tell stories and all that good stuff too. But John's going to come in and tell us all about that, talk a little bit about some of his latest books and things as well too. So that's coming up here in just a few minutes. Before we do any of that, though, let's go ahead and get you up to date on the weather.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. We'll get a mix of sunshine and clouds today, but we do have some moist air coming in from the south, and we could get some showers and thunderstorms by this afternoon. Our high will be in the upper 70s. For tonight, showers and thunderstorms, pretty good possibility, cloudy, and our low in the upper 50s. And then clouds on Wednesday will stay cool. Our afternoon high about 75, scattered showers. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Thank you, Steve. And currently, actually, you know what? Yeah, let me refresh. My weather is an hour old, and that's not fresh. So now it's fresher. Currently 67 degrees here in Roswell. Humidity is at 53%. Winds currently out of the south at 6 miles per hour. We are looking at rain chances, pretty good ones for the rest of this week. Normally, I'm very excited about rain and cooler temps. But because it is fair week, I'm okay with the cooler temps. 70s, that's beautiful temps for the fair. But some of these rain chances hopefully will not pose a problem out at the fair. But it might. So bring raincoats and rain umbrellas. Those things you open up over your head when it rains. That's the water that comes from. I know we don't get it very often, but that's in case you hadn't seen one in a while. But bring one of those out to the fair this week. But we are looking at a 40% chance of showers for this afternoon, mainly after 3 today. Partly cloudy, 78 for a high. Winds will be out of the southeast, 5 to 10. For tonight, we're looking at a 60% chance of showers and thunderstorms, mostly cloudy with an overnight low of 58. Winds will be out of the west, 5 to 10 miles per hour. For your Wednesday, a 50% chance of showers and thunderstorms, partly cloudy and 78. Winds will be out of the north, 5 to 10. Then Wednesday night, we're looking at a 50% chance of showers and thunderstorms, mostly cloudy, 57. Thursday, 40% chance of showers and thunderstorms, mostly cloudy and 75. Friday, 40% chance of rain, partly cloudy, 75. And then for the weekend, 30% chance of rain Saturday, partly cloudy, 73. 40% chance on Sunday, partly cloudy and 75. Are you sensing a pattern? So odds are we'll probably get some moisture this week during the fair. But I do want to remind folks, like and follow the Eastern New Mexico State Fair Facebook page. That is your quickest, best, fastest resource for any updates, changes due to weather or any other thing out at the fairgrounds this week. So like and follow that. That way you can, if you're like, man, is a concert happening tonight? Check back there. If it has to get moved or changed or canceled or whatever, they'll let you know there first. All right, it is 18 minutes after 9 o'clock. We're going to take a 3-minute break, and then John LeMay is going to join us talking about spooky Southwest tales and things like that. Big event coming up here in a few weeks to the Historical Society. We'll talk about that with John on the other side. Don't go away, please.
There's at least one thing most New Mexicans agree on. Our schools have a long way to go. That's why Governor Michelle Lujan Grisham is breathing new life into public education with initiatives that support our children from their first baby steps to promising career paths. like expanding in-home family services, early childhood and pre-K, so thousands more kids will go off to school healthy and ready to learn, and attracting new teachers by raising salaries to the highest in the Southwest. It's already paying off by recruiting hundreds of new teachers to our classrooms this year. And she is cutting teacher paperwork and administrative burdens by 41%, so they have more time to teach our children. Thanks to the governor's new Opportunity Scholarships, any New Mexican can now attend a state college for free to earn a certificate or degree in a wide range of high-demand fields. After 2 tough years, we're finally making progress in education. We can't afford to go back to the failed policies of the past.
Paid for by New Mexicans for Michelle.
Approved by Michelle Lujan Grisham.
Amigo Machinery, your local Kubota dealer for Southeast New Mexico, congratulates the Eastern New Mexico State Fair on 100 years. Come out to all the shows, enjoy the entertainment, the music, the food, and the rides as the Eastern New Mexico State Fair celebrates 100 years, October 3rd through the 8th. And Amigo Machinery invites you to tune in to KSVPTV.com for all the junior livestock events. Come celebrate 100 years of the Eastern New Mexico State Fair. Amigo Machinery, your local Kubota dealer, a proud sponsor of the Eastern New Mexico State Fair. Celebrate a century of tradition at the Eastern New Mexico State Fair, October 3rd through the 8th at the fairgrounds in Roswell. Come experience it all. The 4-H and FFA Pavilion, the Arts and Crafts and Commercial Building, the livestock shows and sale, the amazing food, Wright's Carnival, and of course, the amazing entertainment, including the NASCAR Experience, Dan the Farmer Man, and music each night with headliner Colby Cooper Friday night at 6 p.m.
Don't act like it's breaking news.
And Saturday, it's Cumbia Night featuring Mickey Cruz and Grupo Maldad. And of course, the Ranch Rodeo Friday and Saturday night. Best of all, parking and all the concerts and the rodeo are free with your admission to the fair. Admission is only $12 for adults, $8 for kids and seniors, and kids 2 and under are free. Get more info at enmsf.com. The Eastern New Mexico State Fair, celebrating 100 years, October 3rd through the 8th. Ad paid for through the City of Roswell. The preseason is in the books for your Roswell Coyotes. And with district play just 1 week away, now is your chance to get caught up on the Coyote season at ksvptv.com. Simply log on and click on the Roswell Coyotes tab so you can go back and get caught up on every Coyote game so far this season. Tell your friends and family worldwide that the place to go for all things Coyotes is ksvptv.com. Southeastern New Mexico's sports authority, then, now, and always.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. The first toilet being flushed in a motion picture was in the movie Psycho. Mike thought it was Gone with the Wind. Here's Mike Winters.
You have to think about that joke a little bit. Just a little, though. You know, Gone with the Wind took place during the Civil War. Not the actual movie, but the film, the scene. Just, never mind. If I have to explain the joke, it's probably not that good. Good morning. It is 21 minutes after 9 o'clock. And joining us in studio this morning from the Historical Society for Southeast New Mexico, John LeMay back with us. Good morning, John.
Good morning, Mike.
How are you doing today?
I'm recovering. I had a wild weekend in Vegas.
Probably not the Vegas everyone's thinking of. The Vegas
no, Las Vegas, New Mexico.
New Mexico.
It's just as wild.
Just as wild.
Yeah.
Just less places to lose all of your money in a short amount of time.
Yeah, for different reasons. Yeah.
That's right. But and then of course, maybe some folks know this, maybe others don't. Filming of what's the name of the movie now?
No Country for Old Men?
No, well, maybe, but even older than that is the one with it's the one where the kids it's in the 80s where the Wolverines they take C. Thomas
Red Dawn. Yeah.
Red Dawn, thank you. The original Red Dawn was filmed in Las Vegas.
I forget about that.
Yeah, not the remake, the one they did about 10 years ago, the original one. I have no idea where the remake was done, but you were there not for these reasons, but for a historical reason, for sure.
Yeah, they had a really cool, they called it the Billy the Kid Shootout. It was a film festival.
Okay.
They showed, I think, just about every Billy the Kid movie they could find.
Okay.
You know, they showed Young Guns, The Left-Handed Gun with Paul Newman.
Okay.
The Kid with Chris Pratt. They had a new movie, I think it was made in France, that premiered there or something.
Neat.
It was just, it was a lot of cool stuff. It was a great event. I hope they do it again. And
I'm just thinking, what would it be like to watch a French film about a New Mexico legend?
Yeah.
That might be interesting. An interesting take on that.
And I missed it because it ran from like Thursday to Saturday, and I only got there Saturday.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it was really cool to see and all that. Was there, like, do people, I'm just curious, because it's kind of like a Billy the Kid Comic-Con a little bit, as far as, studying the history. I mean, it's not like Comic-Con where they in costumes, but my question was, or is it? I mean, do you get some folks that show up and they're like, dressing up in like Old West attire and stuff to get kind of into the spirit of the film festival or anything like that?
Well, it would be nice if it grew into that. This one, it just kind of showed up. I was there, I think from 2:00 on Saturday. I sat in on a little panel, and they had a lot of other cool experts there. I wanted to mention I got to meet Roy Young and Kurt House.
Okay.
And they just wrote a brand new Billy book. And the reason I'm bringing them up is they're going to be at the Roswell Public Library sometime Thursday, late afternoon or evening.
Okay, this Thursday.
Yeah, so since I don't know the time, I mean, just call the library and ask them when's the Billy the Kid talk. And it's just, like I said, sometime Thursday, late afternoon.
Okay, usually around 4, so...
Yeah, or it might have been in the evening. I'm not a very good listener. That's all that I retain. But they're great guys, and I wanted to support them.
Absolutely.
Really nice.
Yeah, so if you love that Billy the Kid, that lore, the history... It's so much fun to talk to people that study it their whole lives and get, because they get all the good nuggets of information. Just the little, to me, this is, and I'm sure you probably share this kind of love too. To me, one of the fun parts of history is learning the maybe the not so historical things about people, the quirks, the nuances, the things that kind of make them tick at the end of the day. The things that, and it's always stuff like, Billy used to keep his pocket comb in his left pocket, something, just something along those lines. I mean, that's not true. I'm just making that up. But along those lines, I love that nuance of history. Like for instance, Stonewall Jackson. We all know Thomas, Confederate general, brilliant tactician, but he believed his body was lopsided. It wasn't like he believed his body wasn't symmetrical. Like his parts weren't lined up right. And he used to have bad stomach problem. That's why I always chewed on lemons. But he would sit in the saddle for hours at a time with one of his hands, I'm not sure if it's left or right, just sitting in the air, just waving. And people are like, what the heck is he doing? He's like, he's trying to balance himself again, trying to realign himself. And that's the kind of quirks that he had that, you don't really learn about till you start, digging into the real history and stuff. And so imagine an event like this, you get a lot of that kind of Billy the Kid information and things and talks like this.
Because I'm the complete opposite. I specialize in the untruths. So most of the other guys there, though, they specialize in the truth.
Sure.
So.
You're kind of trying to separate the fact from the lore.
Yeah.
Kind of.
I've had enough of it. It needs to be stated right now. I'm outraged. I'm infuriated.
Oh,
that
right.
all this love and all this attention has been given to a monster like Billy the Kid. He's been idolized in media over a generation, and it's infuriating. I, for one, won't stand for it anymore. Billy the Kid needs to be canceled. Are you guys catching the parallels?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, I want to make sure. I was sitting there and I was like, I wonder if anybody's going to cancel Billy the Kid the way we're canceling Dahmer.
I was just trying to go through the Rolodex of Emilio Estevez lines from the movie that I could throw back, and now like none of them really fit the mold. So I just kind of, I was like, you will make you famous now.
But yeah, if we're outraged at Dahmer, we need to be outraged at Billy the Kid. There, I said it.
Ah, very good.
Needs to be said. As you were, gentlemen.
By the way, I finished that series yesterday.
Of course you did, you psychopath.
I am. I'll talk about it later. But Sean's joking aside, but Billy the Kid, it's pretty cool to kind of to hear and see it. And I'm not proud of this. I've never been to the gravesite there in Fort Sumner. It's one of those things I've always wanted to do. I've just never made that trip up there to do it. So one of these days, I've got to go up there and see all of because I know they got quite a bit of stuff for you to check out. I just never have made that trip up.
Only an hour and a half away, so it's not bad.
Yeah. To be honest, I've just recently started going through all the Fort Stanton stuff after all these years. I've been to Lincoln 100 times and drove past Fort Stanton and, even stopped and looked at the cemetery for all the Merchant Marines there. I just never actually went into the fort till within the last year or so. And I've been kind of, learned a lot of cool stuff back here. Didn't realize it. So anyway, I'm a little off topic here, but, that's part of what's great about this New Mexico history and all of this stuff. And of course, the Historical Society, we got a fun event. We want to invite people out here, but it's all in that vein of preserving the history, telling, and now we're just putting a little bit of a Halloween twist on it, kind of telling some of our more unusual tales and things of history, Old West history, things like that. And that's kind of like so that's what this event coming up here in a couple weeks on the 23rd is all about. Is you and Donna kind of telling, not ghost stories per se, but telling just historic tales that kind of have a Halloween vein to them, and things like that. So I'm curious, what's that process where you and Donna kind of go through and decide what tales, what stories will be fit for the event?
I'm sure Donna's probably going to talk a lot about haunted hotels that she did, just kind of some of the best of her wheelhouse.
Yeah.
And then she's probably got some new stuff that maybe she'll talk about.
Plus her Wicked Women series, her books there. I imagine there's probably a few tales that would fall into the Halloween genre from some of those characters that she's written about. So,
well, yeah, like for instance, there were these serial killers that lived in Kansas around the same era as Billy the Kid. They were called the Bender family.
Okay.
They were just like a regular nuclear family, mother, father, son, daughter, but they were serial killers. And they think actually that Kate Bender, the girl, moved here to New Mexico under an alias, and she was kind of known as like the Black Widow.
I must say she's been portrayed in stories before,
Probably,
hasn't it? I've heard that name, Kate Bender, Black Widow.
Yeah,
I feel like in movies or books or something, I've heard that name.
Yeah,
in story, not in nonfiction, but in story form. So I'd be. Was there a Kate Bender in any of the Young Guns movies?
I don't think, probably somebody else, because
Maybe.
she never tangled with Billy the Kid.
Okay,
but
I didn't know if they tried to crowbar it in there or something. I know in some movies, some westerns, that name has come across.
I'm going to do that in one of my books. But
are you? Yeah, you already got, I'm not going to ask you because you spoil the surprise, but you got plans?
Oh, yeah, it's no surprise,
But we'd love to invite folks out October 23rd. It's a Sunday. From 2 to 3:30 in the afternoon, so it'll be after the early games there. You'll be good to go. But we'd love to invite you out. Donna and John, of course, they're going to be telling some different legend stories that kind of fall in the Halloween theme. I'm kind of curious. In the flyer here, you've advertised two of the stories. The Cursed Mummy of John Wilkes Booth.
Yeah.
Can you tease any bit of that story or give a little background?
Oh yeah,
on that?
I'll just summarize it.
Yeah,
basically. So John Wilkes Booth is just like Billy the Kid in that men surfaced claiming to be him after his death.
Yeah, his death though was in a public forum because a lot of people didn't see a body per se. The legend that John Wilkes Booth was still alive years after his reported death is pretty. Almost as widespread as Billy the Kid.
Yeah. So his claimant, his name was David E. George. He committed suicide in Oklahoma in about early 1900s.
Okay.
And he did it with arsenic. And so basically what happened is when the embalmer embalmed the body, when it combined with the arsenic he had used to poison himself, it mummified him more so than it would a normal person.
So it was it almost like pickled him in essence. Like you would if you're taking cucumbers in a brine or something. Okay.
Yeah, and so he had confessed to being John Wilkes Booth right before he died. And you have to wonder, why would you do that? Except for maybe back in early 1900s, there might still be some Confederate sympathizers that would take pride in that,
absolutely.
Perhaps.
Shoot, it's 2022 and there's still a few floating around. I mean, it's just,
Now, he kind of acted like he was ashamed of it, like he was confessing to a crime. So who knows? But
I'm guessing the fact that, he was dabbling with arsenic and things, there's probably some mental health problems there.
That's true.
From the get-go.
Yeah.
And this might just be an extension of that a little bit.
Yeah, that's true.
It's because for folks that, when we hear, but this is it, that's the tales, because John Wilkes Booth, for folks who don't know, he's the assassinator of President Abraham Lincoln. His ending came to be when federal troops tracked him into Virginia, and he was staying at a farm there in Virginia. Someone had let him stay in the barn out there for a day or two, and they caught wind that he was there, and him and I think it was Atzerodt. I don't remember which one, but one of the co-conspirators was there with him. and I believe Athrop came out. He came out, surrendered. Booth did not, and so they surrounded him in the barn, and then they lit the barn on fire to try to chase him out. He wouldn't come out, and then one of the cavalry soldiers, I don't remember his name off the top of my head, but according to his stories and things, he was deeply religious, and I'm talking to the point where he mutilated himself. He castrated himself. That's how, almost to the point of fanaticism. And he claimed, and there's witnesses to prove, that he actually saw Booth through the cracks in the barn, stuck his pistol through the barn door, the slats in the barn, and popped a cap in him and killed him, and said he's the one that killed him. And then, of course, they dragged the body out and everything and all that. But that part of the story kind of gets lost because it doesn't meet the urban legend side of they didn't really get him. And so then you see things like he turns up in something years later, and or like you said, a guy in Colorado or wherever that was makes a claim that he was just kind of like Bushy Roberts and Billy the Kid. And by the way, sorry Texans, I've seen enough documentaries on Bushy Bill Roberts, and there's a lot of similarities, but when you break down the bone structure, the things that really matter, none of it lines up. And that's probably the most truest thing that at this point in history we can tell to determine that's probably not Billy the Kid, but Bushy Bill Robert folks there. Just I don't want to pee on your parade there, but that's kind of been debunked. But so this is that story of that guy, and then this one's got a little bit more local flair. I think the Navajo witch purge of 1878. Again, I don't want to hear the whole story, but just kind of set that story up on the background there a little bit.
Yeah, so they have I don't know if it's a myth, but just the idea of basically the Native American equivalent to werewolves. They call them skinwalkers. Okay. And the idea is it's like a medicine man gone evil who drapes his skin with like it drapes his flesh with like a predatory animal skin.
Okay, kind of like Indians hunting. They would, when they would go hunting, they wear the skins and stuff as camouflage.
That's right. And see, it was a taboo thing to ever wear the skin of a predatory animal, like a mountain lion or a wolf.
Okay.
So they didn't do that because they would think that you were a skinwalker.
Okay, that was kind of, I guess, sacrilegious. I guess would probably be the term. Interesting. So these were considered evil people because they broke the sacrilege of wearing the skins.
Yeah, and supposedly they would transform into the animal just like a werewolf.
Okay, that's where the legend meets reality here. Interesting. But the thing is, it might be just some serious mental health people that had some issues. And I'm very curious. Have you heard? I know History Channel has it, and I'd never put two and two together till just this moment. So I'm curious if it is 2 and 2. They have I'm sure you've heard of it. They've got a documentary show called like Legends at the Skinwalker Ranch and all. Is that the same, when they talk of that that's the same stories we speak of, these skinwalkers? Is that different?
It's that and more. Okay. So it's really, when you get down to it, that ranch is more known for UFO activity, but it's on a Ute Native American like old reservation land or something, or tribal lands that was supposedly cursed. And they see a few skinwalkers there, supposedly, but it's more UFOs.
So that's more of a melding of the two. Yeah. It's like, come for the skinwalkers, stay for the extraterrestrial kind of thing. Okay. Yeah. It's just like a bag of creepy. Oh, yeah. I got it. Okay. Now I get it. Because, I mean, I don't know, everyone has different beliefs and everything, but, when it comes to spirits and spirit world and stuff, I do believe that when tragic events and tragic things happen at a certain spot, I think it does hold an energy and hold something that we can't explain or understand yet. And whether that's ghosts or some kind of energy imprint, I don't know. But there's something there we just don't understand. It's kind of interesting. But anyway, so these are just some of the stories. Of course, you guys will be hanging out afterwards, and if you want to get a copy of any of their books or have a book signing, or if you want to sit and chat with Donna or John about any of their stories and their books, because let's face it, between John and Donna, what do you got, 30, 40 books between the two of you?
Yeah.
Probably out for folks to check out.
I'll have some new ones there, because I've got one called Cowboys and Monsters, which is all collections of any newspaper articles that dealt with werewolves, mummies, or vampires in the Old West.
It's a great one because it's kind of, it's almost seeing paranormal history as it's being observed. And that's what I love about, because we've had this conversation before, like UFO sightings, aliens. We have a much better vocabulary of that kind of stuff today. So when we see something, we use those terms. But in 1842, if they come across a kind of anomaly, or like, they don't have the vocabulary we do to describe or understand that. So their stories probably sound more mythical, like it's some kind of beast or devil or something. Where we're like, no, it's something from out of this world, but it's probably all the same stuff. You know what I mean? Is what it is. We yet to learn all that. So to me, that's it. Almost these tales and these things that you talk of are as much important to the history because it's historicalizing the unexplained, and where it was chalked up as witchcraft or sorcery or whatever back then, we now know maybe it was something different. And so that's what I love about that kind of stuff. So that's a good book for you to pick up. I definitely talk to John, pick that copy up. If you can't wait till the 23rd, you can probably get it online at the Historical Society's website right now.
I don't think I gave them any copies to sell, so I think that one would be like an Amazon one. But the day of, I'll do some sort of share with the society or something. Yeah,
good deal. But and of course, John goes into everywhere. So if you like, obviously the Billy the Kid and stuff, he's got a whole series of those books. He does get into some of, like you said, the cowboys and aliens type thing, but also into like Godzilla and stuff. That's not Historical Society per se, but it's also written and done the same way you would also do a Billy the Kid book. You know what I mean?
Nonfiction.
Yes, it's not saying, here's the thing about Godzilla, here's a bunch of cool pictures of Godzilla. Isn't Godzilla cool? No, it's the evolution of Godzilla, what Godzilla is here versus what it is in Japan, and those kinds of the lineage, the history, the how did it come to be that we all know about a big green lizard that stomps Tokyo. Why do we know about that? Why is it so part of the lexicon even today? And that's what I love about your books and things like that.
Thank you.
And then, by the way, we gotta talk up Donna's books too, because where John goes in the world with this kind of stuff, Donna, like the Wicked Women and these ghost stories and things, she loves to go on these adventures and see these places.
So I was about to say, Donna actually leaves the house to write her books. But this is the other funny thing. So I went up to Las Vegas, like I said. I went with Jason Garcia.
Yeah.
And just by sheer coincidence, we were looking at Donna's Instagram, and she was in Mora, New Mexico on Saturday. And so we hit her up, and we're like, hey, we're in Vegas. And so she came over Sunday morning, and we spent the day together hanging out, and we got to see some cool stuff. We went to Montezuma Castle in Las Vegas. I don't know how many listeners...
I am not familiar with that. No, I am not.
It's the strangest thing you can imagine, because it's this big world college school that even King Charles is involved with.
Okay.
And it's like, why would King Charles be involved?
So it's got an international footprint or imprint. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, why would King Charles be involved with a school in Las Vegas, New Mexico?
There's a lot of questions.
Really cool. So we got to drive by it and check it out. It looks like an English castle in the hills of New Mexico. It's really
interesting.
Odd.
You always wonder if it's just like these dignitaries, these people of importance or wealth.
Yeah.
They come here on a vacation or some kind of trip, and they fall in love because, let's face it, the land of New Mexico is very unique compared to the rest of the world. We live it every day, so we kind of take it for granted. But not a lot of people have majestic mountains trips and just you can see for miles and just beauty, openness, and it's remote and desolate, but it's quite beautiful to see.
Yeah.
And so when you live in England or anywhere in Europe where everybody's on top of everybody, or it's raining or whatever, and then they come out here and it's like, wait a minute, you can literally sit by yourself and see for hundreds of miles and not see another human being, and that's so it leaves an imprint on people.
Yeah, and its history you can tie into Billy the Kid too, because some people might be like, why Las Vegas for a Billy the Kid film festival? Well, Billy would go to Las Vegas to gamble. Supposedly he met Jesse James there, which is cool.
So it was kind of a party town for cowboys back in
the
day.
spot where Billy gambled is basically where the Montezuma Castle is today, because it used to be a hotel. it's got an interesting history in that they sometimes call it the Phoenix, because that hotel, it always looks basically the same. Always looks like a castle, but it's burned down and been rebuilt about 3 times now.
Oh, really?
Which is weird. But yeah, so it just started out as a huge hotel, gambling resort, and then it was abandoned. And then once it was abandoned, it was acquired by the Arm & Hammer World College, and that's how King Charles got involved. And,
okay.
So, yeah.
So today, is it a museum or is it a...
No, it's a functioning school. Like
now,
these kids go there. It's like you're a senior in high school, and it's like a senior/freshman college combo, and it's kids from all over the world. I think about 200 of them every year.
I've not heard any of that. That's amazing. And that's literally in our own backyard.
Yeah,
that's amazing. Again, this is why I like historical side in these events. You learn so much about your own community, and you learn why it's the way it is and what it is, and we're gonna have fun, tell ghost stories, that kind of stuff. But really, it's just more of that. It's more of learning where you grew up in, learning where you live in, and learning the good, the bad, and the ugly. All of it. The history's history. It is what it is.
Yeah.
It's our job to study it, understand it, and learn from it.
Yeah.
And I think this is one of those events that's just so great about that, because, and what I'm hoping is it gives you, now you hear Donna talking all these stories and places that she's been and seen. I hope it lights a little fire and says, you've played, I mean, you don't have to go to Donna's level and start, hitting every ghost town and everything, but it gives you an idea to say, I need to plan a trip. I need to go, hey, let's start with Lincoln. We'll go to Lincoln this weekend and check Lincoln out. Or, hey, we're going to go and I don't know, just go west and go check out some of the stuff in the western half of the state. Whatever, just pick something, There's just so much there. So, but start by coming out to the 23rd.
Yeah.
And of course, now it's just hearing stories, and then, of course, book signing and book purchasing afterwards and talking. No big scavenger hunts or anything.
No.
It's just come and hear some strange history tales and things like that. Which, if you love hearing these stories and love hearing about it, please come out. Are you guys charging anything, or just...
No, I think the society will just benefit from the book sales.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you'd like to make a donation to the Historical Society, though, there will be people there to do that. But you're not obligated or required. To be honest, if you really want to help, come and buy something afterwards. Come and get your appetite wet for something we're talking about, and then do your own kind of next level exploratory on that and buy a book or do something. We'd love that. Would be very helpful to us. Not even so much for the whatever amount of money you spend on the book, but the fact that you are living, breathing, and participating in the history of this area. So that to me is just as important. So, by the way, go to roswellnmhistory.org. That is the Historical Society's website. It is a great resource, not only to learn more about this event and all of our other events, but buying books. I know the holiday season's not far away. Peter Hurt prints, things like that make great gifts. We've got gift options for you when you start thinking about holiday shopping here pretty soon. And then, of course, if you need a meeting space, our archives facility, the facility that you'll be at here on the 23rd, that's available for, it seats comfortably about 75 people. It's got a kitchen, got everything else. So if you need that for a meeting space or a small party or event like that, think of the Historical Society. That's all ways to help support and enjoy the Historical Society too. So, is there anything we missed? What about you and your books? What are you working on right now? Problem is do you take breaks between books, or you just literally crank one out and then there's another one? I
might take a break for a day, you know what I mean? Something like that, but yeah.
It's like, what about your new book? That was 2 new books ago. I got another one here. You're like, man, they come out fast. So what are you working on right now?
I started a little tiny, you'd call it a digest magazine, because we think of magazines as big, but you know how National Geographic was kind of smaller. Yeah. So I started a little digest magazine called Strange West.
Okay.
Which is just more strange Western tales.
But more in like a short story form?
Yeah, or shorter articles that just and they sometimes escape the scope of the books I'm working on. So they didn't fit, but I wanted to write about them.
Sure. So it's scratching an itch for you, but also giving people a chance of getting like a history hodgepodge
Yeah, like for instance, I found this cool story about the son of Albert Fountain finding gold along with the bones of a giant sloth in this cave in White Sands.
Wow.
Which doesn't fit my dinosaur books because the giant sloth was dead, but it's a cool story. You know, you found prehistoric animal bones and gold in a cave. Yeah.
Yeah, it is pretty cool. Yeah. So, again, this is part of that beauty of what this state is. It's because we're not the East Coast and there's civilizations after civilizations that have been kind of living on those grounds. I mean, we don't have that, you know, we've got, our history is much older, but much more sparse, if that makes sense. And so for you to find relics of something from thousands of years ago, you're going to have a much greater chance of finding it here than you would, say, in Virginia or Maryland. Or, I mean, don't get me wrong, they do archaeological digs, but it's not, that's more about ancient civilization. You start learning about Jamestown people, things like that. Here you're learning about dinosaurs or native tribes that have been here for thousands of years and things like that. So it's kind of different. Excuse me. Again, RoswellNMhistory.org is the website. Come on by the Historical Society. They're on Lee Street. 200 North Lee, I believe, is the actual address for the museum.
Yeah.
It's right next door.
Same parking lot, you know, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, so come and be a part. And, of course, don't forget, if you'd like to do a tour or something like that, reach out. We still offer private tours. We don't have it open set hours right now. It's you call us, say, hey, I got family in town. Can we schedule a tour? We'll be happy to make those arrangements, get that done for you. All we ask is a little donation just to, you know, cover costs, and whatever you feel is worthy of that, we'd be very thankful for. So, in another great way. But come on out again. October 23rd, Sunday, 2 to 3:30 p.m. at the Historical Society's Archives facility, which is there on Lee, right next door to the house. And come out for John LeMay and Donna Blake Burchell as they share spooky Southwest history stories, ones that you may have heard part of but didn't hear the whole story, or people you may have heard of but didn't know this about them, things like that. So come check it out, and then stick around for a book signing and a meet and greet with John and Donna afterwards. So, and then come with your own tales. If you've got stories of New Mexico and you don't think maybe John or Donna have heard, tell them, share them.
Yeah.
You might just spark an idea for one of their next books or something like that. So, you know, because that's how you guys gather history just as much, especially for here. It's oh, well, I knew so and so here who grew up here, and this is the story, and then that kind of gives you your leads, and then you do your digging from there to kind of put fact to your story, and that's how they do this. So bring it. Is there anything I missed, John? Anything?
No, I'll just remind anybody that came in on the tail end of this again about the Roswell Public Library talk Thursday for Roy Young and Kurt House on their new Billy the Kid book.
Excellent. And they'll be there Thursday afternoon. Call the Roswell Public Library for any kind of more information details. They're always free talks at the library, so I know they're not going to charge, but usually they do them in the Bondart room, and then the Friends of the Library are kind enough to provide some light refreshments for folks. And, and then they come and enjoy a great talk here. So, and this one's all about B to the K.
Yeah,
Billy
B to the K. Okay,
Billy Kid. So, very good. Well, thank you, John.
Yeah, thank you, Mike.
As always, appreciate the visit. We'll see you here next time. And take a break once in a while. Go in between writings. Go on a trip with Donna so you can smell some roses. Thanks, John. Appreciate you. It is 9:52. We're going to pause for a news update, Sean Hannity update, quick break as well. Don't go away. You're listening to Mornings with Mike Winters.
Now for a Pecos Valley news update, I'm Jared Sorello. New Mexico State House Republican leader Jim Townsend of Artesia is calling on State Representative Nathan Small to return any campaign contributions that may have been illegally raised in violation of the Federal Hatch Act. The U.S. House of Representatives Committee on Oversight and Reform requested that the U.S. Office of Special Counsel begin the investigation into potential violations of the Hatch Act by Small's wife, Xochitl Torres Small, the former Congresswoman and current Undersecretary of Rural Development. Undersecretary Torres Small is accused of abusing her federal office to illegally raise campaign funds for Democrats, including her husband's campaign in southern New Mexico. The state of New Mexico reportedly has the worst rate in the country for alcohol-related deaths at nearly 2,000 people annually. Now some lawmakers are debating whether the state tax on booze should be higher. The Santa Fe New Mexican reports the Legislative Health and Human Services Committee is choosing an alcohol tax increase as one of its top priorities for next year. Some lawmakers say they don't know how much to increase the alcohol tax, whether to change how the taxes are levied, and what to do with the revenue that's raised. You're up to date. I'm Jared Sorello.
Waking up on the right side. This is the Sean Hannity Morning Minute.
There's a new Monmouth University poll that came out. Over 80% of Americans now saying inflation is the top midterm issue, and only 30% approve of Biden's handling of it. By the way, who are these 30%? I don't know who they are. Americans rated abortion. Democrats think that will get them over January 6th, abortion, and Republicans are racist, sexist, misogynist, blah, blah, blah. We'll get them over the finish line. It's not going to work. Anyway, they have rated abortion, which Democrats are now demagoguing about, lying about, the centerpiece of their midterm campaign messaging, because they can't run on the economy, inflation. They can't run on record high gas prices. They can't run on safe and secure borders. They can't run on safe and secure cities and towns. There's nothing that they can point to that they can say, oh, we're successful about this.
From coast to coast, from sea to shining sea, it's the Sean Hannity Show.
A so-called ally viciously attacked them. Time for the cover-up to end. JusticeForLiberty.org.
Israeli Defense Forces. I don't know why they call them defense, because they were attacking us.
Matter of fact, they committed some war crimes.
The life rafts were shot out. This attack went on for over 2 hours. There was blood everywhere. Just blood everywhere.
It was absolutely a deliberate attack.
Get your USS Liberty hat today and proudly show your support. JusticeForLiberty.org. Paid for by If Americans Knew.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. We'll get a mix of sunshine and clouds today, but we do have some moist air coming in from the south, and we could get some showers and thunderstorms by this afternoon. Our high will be in the upper 70s. For tonight, showers and thunderstorms, pretty good possibility, cloudy, and our low in the upper 50s. And then clouds on Wednesday will stay cool. Our afternoon high about 75, scattered showers. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
With the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Rich Thomason. Wall Street opened sharply higher this morning, extending this week's quarter opening rally. It comes on the heels of a dismal September. The market's encouraged by weak economic data that it hopes could convince the Fed to step back from its aggressive interest rate hikes. A Russian court has fined TikTok for failing to delete LGBT materials in what is the country's latest crackdown on big tech. The court in Moscow issuing the $50,000 penalty to the short video sharing platform following a complaint by Russian regulators. New vehicle sales dropped in the third quarter, even with improvements in September. But there are warning signs consumers' appetite for expensive new cars, trucks, and SUVs may be waning. Edmunds.com says sales dropped 0.9% from July through September. For the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Rich Thomason.
I'm Michelle Garcia Holmes, and I'm running for United States Congress. As a former policewoman, I put on my Kevlar vest, uniform, gun belt, grabbed my 12-gauge shotgun, jumped into my police car, and hit the city streets to keep you safe. I want to do the same for you in Washington. I'm asking for your vote on November 8th because our families deserve safe cities, a secure border, and lower gas prices.
Donate today at GarciaHolmesForCongress.com. Paid for by Michelle Garcia Holmes for Congress.
Get ready to get rowdy. The Eastern New Mexico State Fair and the Hondo Rodeo Company presents the Pecos Valley Stampede Ranch Rodeo, Friday and Saturday, October 7th and 8th, 6 p.m. at the Bob Crosby Arena, featuring the best in stray gathering, wild cow milking, trailer loading, and muley roping. Best of all, the Pecos Valley Stampede Ranch Rodeo is free with paid admission to the fair. It all goes down October 7th and 8th during the Eastern New Mexico State Fair. Log on to enmsf.com to learn more. Ad paid for through the City of Roswell Lodgers Tax.
Nutrient Ag Solutions, formerly Crop Production Services, is the world's largest supplier of crop inputs and services and is helping growers feed the future. While providing superior customer service, you can rely on Nutrien to deliver safe products on time to any location. If you need it, they have it. Nutrien understands your business and your needs. It's central to who they are. For more information on products and services, call Nutrient Ag Solutions, formerly Crop Production Services, at 575-748-3510. Nutrien, feeding the future.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. Elephants use these skin folds on their bodies to crush mosquitoes. Mike Winters uses his to hide M&Ms. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 9:59. That's about going to do it for us for today's show. Thank you very much for allowing us to be a part of it. If you missed any part of our show, don't forget you can go back and check it out at your leisure, ksvptv.com. Just click on the Mornings with Mike Winters channel. If you like using things like YouTube or Facebook, we're there too. Just look for Roswell Talk FM on Facebook and YouTube. We'll find all of our videos there too. That's going to do it. Have an amazing day. We'll be back bright and early, 7 a.m. tomorrow. You're listening to 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM, KEND, or Roswell,